Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Yep, I'm always forgetting the day of the week it is. Welcome to Call of Cthulhu Rapture. This is the premiere stream. Uh, so I'm just gonna toss it right on over to my players and let them introduce themselves. Let's see. Do we want to go left to right or right to left?
Go left to right.
Let's go right to left because Kat looks like she's having a conniption over there. So let's.
That's why I wanted to start with Kat.
You're such a bastard.
If you start with me, I will wring your neck.
That's fair. You're gonna fly over the lake. Okay. Omni, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Tell us where people can find you and tell us who you're playing.
Sure thing, Chief. Hello, everyone. I'm the Last Omnitech, your favorite robot American, and you guys can find me on my own Twitch, twitch.tv/TheLastOmnitect, all one word, as well as also on my Twitter, @TheLastOmnitect, all one word. I keep the same thing everywhere, and I'm going to be playing Edward Ward, who is an engineer specifically a train engineer. So, yeah, we're having a fun time with him today. I'm going to feel out his accent, so just bear with me. And that's it.
We're gonna do a transatlantic.
That's a mood right there.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say that he was raised by British immigrants. So, just for the ease of my fucking sanity, I don't want to even begin to attempt a fucking Chicago accent.
Every time you mess up your accent, I'll deduce sanity points.
Perfect. I started pretty high. Actually, no, I started pretty low. Shit, it's only 33.
You're on your way out. All right. Alec Azam.
That's me. Yes, I am Alexam, a pro-GM purveyor of all things homebrew. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Ko-fi, all sorts of places like that, where I make a ton of homebrew, actually for multiple systems, and I'm currently working on my own system that should be out, I'm hoping, by March or April at the latest. I'm going to be playing Hannibal Riggs. He is a veteran and a detective with a pretty grim past, who is really hoping he can just, outrun those inner demons. And we'll see. Don't have high hopes.
And soon enough, the outer demons too.
Well, he doesn't know that those are happening yet.
All right, well, thank you, Alec. And Art, who did the music, all of the music. If you're going to hear any of the, if you hear any of the soundscapes right now, the intro music, all the music is by Art here. So,
hi.
God damn.
I don't need to do an intro now. You've done it for me. Okay. Hello, I am Ty Artemis. I am a music maker and apparently soundscape expert because I made the thing you're listening to right now. I remember the first time I sent it to Red, and he was just like, "What the fuck?"
Just like,
yeah. Yes, I make music. You can find me on everything if you like.
Tell us a bit about who you're playing.
I'm still bad at this. Oh yeah, I'm playing a nurse from Georgia called Dodger. She's called Claire, but she likes her nickname Dodger. I'm still bad at this.
No, you're fine. Who's up next? I think that's Elise. Elise, you hear him?
We can't hear you. Might be
lost one already.
Oh no. Technical difficulty.
Oh, I can hear her.
No, it's fine. I'm on my iPad actually, because I'm laid up in bed. But it just for some reason disconnects my microphone every time I tab out a video. It's really annoying. Hello everybody, I am Elise. I am an artist and Etsy store owner. You can find me on Etsy at Queen of Swords D&D or on Twitter at Sword Queen Games or Sword Queen D&D. And I am making custom RPG things.
Can you speak up just a little bit, Hunter? Move your iPad around a little bit. You're coming in like really mumbled and muffled.
Can you hear me any better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Earbud got tilted. Do I need to repeat myself?
No, just introduce your character for us.
Okay. I'll be playing Dottie.
And you cut out.
Cool. I'll be playing Dottie Lewis. I'm sorry in advance for any technical difficulties that I'm having because this is not meant to be done from a tablet. She is a driver, and she is a European immigrant, and she's from Essex, England.
Huh.
And yeah, I don't want to spoil anything about my character, but yeah, she's a driver, but really wants to be a singer, and is a lounge singer in a speakeasy at night.
Sounds good. Right on. Thank you, Elise. And Kat, who I believe, yes, Kat did find the roll 20.
I found the roll 20, everyone. Nobody panic. I know you're all worried, but I'm fine.
I'm
Cat's
quaking.
not having technical difficulties just yet. Yeah. I can see it. I can see quake in your boots. Hey, I'm Kat, otherwise known as Law Mistress 93. I write, I edit, I appear here, and I occasionally stream. I will be playing Sylvie LaBelle, who is an actress, but definitely not like a dramatic person in her day-to-day life. She likes to keep things really chilled. She likes to keep things low key. And she also happens to be Hannibal's far more sensible sister.
Oh my God.
So thank goodness that she's here, really, to keep him in line. And we'll see how that goes. Do you know what? I managed to keep from laughing for a really long time there. She's a mess. She's a hot mess. So I hope that you all are ready.
I was gonna say, if you didn't follow that up with anything, I was like, I didn't know we were gonna have a player death like the first
But like,
session.
she's a hot
But
mess,
I can...
but like emphasis on the hot and less on the mess. Let's try to keep that. Anyway, looking
I
forward
think
to
both
playing
in equal
and
parts.
hopefully not dying first episode.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Would everybody like to start off by rolling a D100 for me?
Oh
yes.
boy.
This is how much sanity
Wait.
you're losing. No, I'm kidding. This is
I'm
something
kidding.
completely different.
That's
Also,
a
folks in
1000.
chat, wow, you guys are rolling hot. Holy shit!
What?
Oh, hold on. Are we
What
all
the
doing it for roll 20?
Oh, and there's Omni with his
There
good,
you
with his
go. I
regular
rounded
roll.
it out. I rounded it out.
Consistent.
Yep.
Can I
Yep.
re-roll that?
Yep. Why must we always play D10 games? Fuck me.
So, folks in chat,
hold on.
if you don't know, Call of Cthulhu is a percentile system where you roll a D100 and you want to roll low. The lower the result is, the better it usually is. Call of Cthulhu is also a more realistic setting. So, if the player gets shot, it's more likely that they'll go unconscious, they'll die outright. There's a lot of things that'll just outright kill you in this game. I'm not going to bully my players by literally just insta-killing their characters. Obviously, that leads to bad storytelling, and I'm not the HBO adaptation of Game of Thrones. So I'm going to give if my characters die, I want to give them a good reason to die, or if they didn't heed my warnings, of course. So this game is going to be brutal. There are going to be heavy themes. I've already talked with the entire cast about lines and veils, and I will not cross any of those, and I will not even mention what we discussed, because obviously that would be in bad taste. But folks in chat, fair warning, there is going to be violent scenes and stuff like that. I mean, this is a post-apocalyptic Call of Cthulhu game, so of course there's going to be some heavier themes. But as I said, my players have all told me they're lines and veils. I'm not going to cross them. Simple as. So, without further ado, in order of who rolled the lowest to who rolled the highest. Yeah, I was waiting for Art to be like. So,
You die. Done.
oh. Whoever rolled a 1 dies. Oh. Okay. So, give me a brief synopsis of what Dodger is doing. Just give me a picture. Paint me a picture of what she is doing on her and just her daily routine as a nurse practitioner. Yes.
Well, I mean, in those times, she'd probably be a very busy nurse practitioner. She probably doesn't go home very much. So when she does get home, it's just straight into bed and then straight back up for a shift at the hospital that she works at, which I did note down, and I've completely forgotten what it's called. I did take a note of it. Hold on.
Hey, you gotta know.
Well,
You say you got a doctor's note. That was funny. Come on.
I
Yes.
got a slight chuckle.
Okay. I'll take what I can get.
Either way.
And laughter from the 50s.
Sorry. Just
No,
practicing
please clap.
slowly.
Just practice. I'm practicing
Big
for
laugh.
later.
Okay. Hospital name? Did you get that?
No. She works in a hospital in Chicago.
That's fine.
In the 1920s. She's probably most commonly found rushing between an intensive care unit, trying to make sure that people are sane. She looks after a lot of the nurses as well. That's kind of her thing, is to make sure that everyone's okay. Yeah, a very very working gal. Doesn't do much, but in and out of the hospital constantly.
Gotcha. So
Very. I don't know if we'd probably call it derelict, but it's probably a little bit dark and dingy, I guess.
yeah. So I'm trying to. I don't know. So this may come as a surprise to people in the chat, but I don't know. The current year that this takes place is 1928. I don't know what the premier hospital was in Chicago in 1928. I'm assuming it was a massive hospital that had some sort of generic name. But regardless,
I'm willing to bet it was probably Chicago General. Like that's probably not a joke. That's probably actually what it was called.
you're probably 100% right. So
It was Cook County Hospital. I found it.
Cook County. Okay, cool.
Called Chicago specific.
Chicago specific. That's the name of the,
And then it
the hospital.
expanded into Chicago General as they started treating more things. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they messed something up, and then they called one of them Chicago Pacific because they didn't. Anyway, so
Right before that was the big thing.
So, Dodger, you're going about your daily routine, and there is a large number of there is a significantly large number of people coming in reporting assault and like people that were they were attacked by people on the street. Not sure why. You're hearing from the nurses that they were probably on heroin, which is going around neighborhoods really rampantly nowadays. They were having some sort of opiate, and you're not sure, but apparently people are getting attacked in the street by just no reason, just wanton assault. And Nurse Evelyn, your kind of right hand, catches you while you're trying to catch your breath while getting all these people registered and in and ready to go. She puts her hand on your shoulder. We got a bit of a problem. The doctor, they need you to hold somebody down. Can you?
They need me to hold someone down. What? Okay. Just tell me which room they're in, and I'll head on over.
She'd put a hand on your shoulder and like lead you along. And you come to a room, which would be the surgery room. I'm not a medical professional, leave me alone. And I'd imagine the medical standards in the 20s weren't very great. I mean, there's probably people just smoking cigarettes in the waiting room. So
I don't think they were even practicing hand washing at the time. So.
No, it wasn't until like the 40s or 50s until they started like frequently washing hands. So you enter the room and you're greeted with a really graphic sight. You've seen things like it before. You've seen people have seizures and stuff like that. But there's a person on the table and they're strapped down with leather belts, and they are having a full-on. It looks like a seizure, but it looks like there's like actual intention behind it. Not like they're just seizing. They're like trying to break free of these leather belts, and they're growling and they're hissing, and the doctor's on the far side of the room. They're clearly afraid.
What in the fuck is going on here?
Oh, thank goodness you're here. This patient is maniacal. They're hysteric. Could you please help me hold them down? I need to give them something. An anesthetic.
All right. Everybody grab a limb and we'll get on it. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a leg. I think the two legs. I'm gonna try and hold the patient's legs down.
Okay, could you make a brawl check for me?
Yes, I can. I'm just gonna roll it and roll 20.
Yep. I don't think you have any points in brawl either, do you?
Sorry, I don't know why that's so loud.
Where's my bro?
That was the That was the patients making a noise.
Yes, no,
That was a little bit.
that was paging Dr. Gundam.
Where is my brawl skill? I can't find it on my sheet.
And fighting.
Fighting. Skills. Combat.
Also,
Brawl. Yes.
fun fact, apparently doctors did in fact scrub their hands since the 1870s. It was general hand washing that wasn't popularized until the late.
Also, doctors wash their hands.
Yeah, so surgeons would all the time.
It also wasn't mandated in hospitals until the 1980s.
Yeah, so they would, but it wasn't like it had posters everywhere, that kind of thing.
Also, around the 1920s, lots of religiously themed hospitals. So, like St. Luke's, for example.
Yeah, the Baptist, Jewish, Catholic.
The Methodist Wesley Memorial Hospital, that kind of.
They actually also had anti-maskers in the 20s too during the Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Spanish flu is come and gone though, if I remember correctly. Come and gone, quote unquote. It's Yeah. So
I rolled very high and I don't have any points in brawl, so that's already a bad.
Okay, so as you go to approach this person that's just like on the table, like lashing out, like waving their arms, like trying to kick their legs as best they can. This person is just, it looks like a man, probably couldn't be any older than 25. They're wearing a suit. Their pants are riding a little high on them, so you can like see their socks, and they're just kicking around rapidly. Their shoes look all battered and beat up. It's clear that they've been running or they've been. You don't know why their shoes are dirty because, like, you're in the middle of the city. There's not a whole lot of dirt to kick up around here. But this guy looks scuffed. Like, his suit is just pretty much in tatters. And what are you trying to grab? Arm, leg?
I was going for his legs, so probably his ankles. He's trying to, like, while he's kicking, just doing like this, trying to grab the legs and pull them down.
So he's like wiggling his leg around, like rapidly kicking, and he's growling at you, like, and you get a hold of his leg, and he starts flailing his foot around, and doesn't hit you very hard, but it's enough to stun you. You get hit right underneath the chin, and I'm not gonna have you take any damage for that, but it like such it puts you off. You've been hit by patients before that are in hysterics, quote unquote. Yes, I understand the history behind that term, but this is the 1920s. And you can't get a hold on their leg, and you're a nurse practitioner. You've done this before. You've had to hold people down. This guy is out of it, and the doctor is just. He approaches you. You see what I mean? This man is mad.
It's unusual. Have all the patients recently been coming in kind of like in this kind of state, being quite aggressive? And
the past 12 that you've checked in have been quite feverish, I'd say. They broke a fever and they were sweating profusely, and some of them had seizures, but nothing like this. This patient was quiet for nearly an hour before they started flailing around on the table here.
Right. I would suggest getting some belts and just trying to hold him down as best we can. I'm trying to think what to do.
No, you're good. You're not an actual nurse, so hey, if you need to make a roll and have a cop.
I would like to make a roll to find out what the best practice for this is.
Sure, you want to roll medicine for me?
I'll do medicine. 100. That is 92. Oh my god, what the
we're off to a good start.
My medicine?
Bravo, Raggy.
This is great. My medicine is 70.
Okay, so you're actually not quite sure what to do in this scenario. You've had patients like have like panic and freak out and stuff like that before, but you've never seen anything like this. This person is clearly just like deranged. You'd imagine that if you'd have spent the time that you were offered at like that prison hospital, you might have been dealing with people like this, or the asylum that you were offered a job at after your schooling. But you worked in a regular patient's hospital in the middle of the city. You've seen some crazy stuff, but this is a little bit beyond you at the moment.
I would probably recommend just trying to calm him down, get belts and just tie him down until he stops being so crazy.
Yes, I'll get him to calm down. Like, he's been freaking out for 20 minutes. I've tried to get him to calm down. I've tried to give him a sedative, but I'm afraid that I'll kill him.
Have any of the other patients been are they still unruly? Well, actually, yeah, that's a question for the GM. Are all the other patients still like that, or is it just this one guy? Of the rest are relaxed?
All you know right now is what the doctor told you, is that some of them have had seizures and some of them have had shown signs of fever, but as far as you know, none of them have started doing this.
Okay. My next thing would be to check if he's got any like marks on his arm, maybe it's like from injecting something, I guess.
Okay. As you're checking, the doctor has an idea.
Mhm.
Hold his head. If you can hold his head, you and the nurse here, hold his head. And if you hold it perfectly still, I might be able to give him a sedative. And he starts preparing a syringe and he flicks it. And if you've ever seen those old syringes, they have very thick needles. It's
Okay. Would you like to give me a hand? And she kind of looks at the other residents.
So the other nurse in the room with you, Evelyn Moore, she's like trying to figure out what to do. She's standing a good 3 or 4 feet away from this guy, and then you see his hand reaching out, like retching, trying to grab her.
Now, sir, I don't much appreciate you getting handsy with the nurses. Any sort of response? Well, I'm basically leaning in a little bit, not within reaching.
As you start making noise, he like looks towards you, and he just starts like he's got a leather band around his chest here, and like also around like the legs, and he like lifts his head up and like starts retching it around, and you see that there's a certain lack of familiarity in his eyes. They're sort of clouded. You're not sure by what. You've seen old timers with cataracts, and this isn't quite it. And he's just and he just keeps like growling, yelling, snarling, and he's spitting, and there's mucus and all sorts of all the humors sort of like falling from his eyes, his nose, his mouth, his orifices, facial orifices.
Right. I would like to do a little biology check to see if I can tell just
Absolutely.
any sort of like remnant of.
So okay. So I would say you're trying to see if there's like, what exactly are you trying to roll here? I'll keep it rolling. I just wanted to know.
Okay, she's gonna try using our biology knowledge. She's trying to sort of determine if this is like I should have psychology. To try and determine like if this is like a I don't know parasite. I guess it's like making them go this crazy. I guess
the only thing you can think of that would drive somebody like the only thing that you have an extreme success right now. So the only thing that you can compare this to is rabies in an animal, and a wild animal. But rabies doesn't have this kind of effect on humans. Rabies usually just causes humans to foam at the mouth, causes pretty much, from what I understand, brain death, and you just die. Like you don't go feral. You don't try to go like start attacking people. It's a fever. There's brain death, and you're witnessing what appears to be like rabid rabies right now, and like that's the only thing you can compare this to. And Nurse Evelyn goes over and like tries to put a hand on his head, and he turns his head rapidly, and you see his teeth just turn and snap down right on the flesh of the hand, and just tear, like rip, and you see blood, and you just go all over the floor, and the nurse starts screaming. The doctor doesn't know what to do.
I'm gonna run over and grab the wound and put as much pressure. I'm literally grabbing it and trying to like just hold on as hard as possible so it doesn't bleed out.
The doctor, in that moment, the doctor attempted to give this man a sedative, and you look over as you're like trying to hold pressure on the wound, and he has blood and muscle and skin stuck between his teeth as he's growling, and you see that the needle is stuck in his neck, and it like tore through his neck just as the doctor said it would, and it's stuck, and he is still flailing, still moving, still high energy, and he actually seems to be a bit more agitated than he previously was.
Oh fuck. Will you secure the patient? I gotta look after Evelyn.
The doctor's going over and like reprimanding this patient, just like telling him that he should know his place. You just assaulted a nurse, just like literally finger pointing. And this patient, the doctor's an older man, probably in his 60s, and the patient just like and you hear like a snap, and then like snap, and then like the belts break loose, and this guy flies off the table and like leaps at the doctor, and the doctor lets out this ungodly scream as you only witness this guy get on top, and you hear the sound of ripping flesh, very similar to that of what you witnessed on the van.
Dodge is gonna drag Evelyn out of the room and try and lock the surgery and just. Yeah, let's try that first. See if that works.
So you drag her out of the room, and you close the door, and you're fumbling for your keys. You know, like that really anxious sort of like the jingle of keys like falling over each other, and you look up to see the window and just slam into the door. There's this face, and it's covered in blood and mucus, and just all pushed up against the glass, and it's like pounding on the door, just like over and over again. And you manage to get the door. Actually, you know what? Make a check for me. See if you get the door locked. What would you think would be appropriate for this?
Let me double check what skills I actually can.
Actually, what's your dexterity? What's your base dexterity?
My base dex is 35.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Would you like to make a brawl check for me?
A brawl check, yes. Oh, I don't have any points in it. I don't know what I'm supposed to roll lower than.
Roll lower than 25.
Okay. Yes.
That's 7. 25. So you are about to drop the keys because your hands are shaking so violently. Go ahead and mark a success by click a little checkbox next to it. Okay. Your hands are shaking so violently, and you're afraid that you're about to drop the keys, and then you turn it, and just as this whatever this patient is, whatever remained of him, is like jamming and like fumbling with the door handle, like trying to figure out how to open it, and you're safe for now.
Where do I mark the success? Sorry.
There's a little checkbox next to the skill. On your character sheet.
No, I don't see it. I'm using the PDF. If that changes anything.
Oh, you're using it. Well, there should be the same checkbox on the PDF, but
yeah, I can see. So where it actually says the skill word, like accounting. 5%.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just to the left, there's like a little box.
I see it.
That's where you tick.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Okay. So
look at me.
Oh, you're so good.
Thank you.
Let me go.
So proud of you.
First time playing this game. Yeah.
So you manage to lock the door, and Evelyn's like up against the wall, like clutching her hand, and she's like starting to hyperventilate because obviously this is pure and utter shock that she's experiencing right now. And you start hearing other, like across the hospital, you hear distant screams, and you're intelligent enough, you're canny enough to figure out that this is not just an isolated case. What do you do?
Oh fuck. If they're screaming up and down the hospital, can I because I would imagine I would know the hospital. Is there like a nearby room that I know is empty that I can drag Evelyn into?
Yeah, with all the patient rooms that you've been checking in, you know which ones are empty and which ones are open.
Yeah, I'm gonna take her into one of those rooms and put her on one of the surgery beds.
Okay. She is completely compliant. She is not saying no to you. Obviously, she's in a state of shock, and she could be led along. And you lay her down onto the surgery bed, and she's still like clutching her hand and breathing really heavily. Fettered breaths.
Right. Now that I know that the patient's quite bitey, would I have noticed? I don't know if this is metagaming or not, but you can tell me if this is if I can do this. Please. Would I have remembered seeing bite marks on any of the other patients as sort of like linking things together, or is that too metagaming?
So you do recall, what you do know is that these other patients were attacked. You're not sure by what means, but you know it was by tooth and claw. It's a safe assumption that some of them were bitten or scratched, or, as you witnessed with the doctor or Evelyn, literally eaten.
Okay. I will try and find some bandages first to try and get the bleeding to stop. She's probably in a very panicked state, so it's probably not not efficient. Just to try and like at least calm Evelyn down and talking to her while she's putting the bandages on.
Okay. So, Evelyn is sort of catatonic in that regard. She's not responding to you. She's sort of like nodding or shaking her head, and you're not even sure that she's like answering you properly. And you,
Can I put my hand on her forehead?
yes, absolutely.
What do I get anything from it?
She already feels warm. That might be just from like the pressure and the stress of the scenario. But she feels so warm. Actually, go ahead and make a first aid or medicine. Either or would be just fine here.
First aid, because I'm on first aid, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's definitely lower than first aid, I'm sure.
Okay. So whenever you roll a success, make sure to check the little box.
It is lower than that. That's fine.
Cool. So
I did that one as well.
you check her head, and she was bitten just minutes ago, and she already feels like blisteringly feverish. There's a profuse sweating coming from her scalp, and you know she's all disheveled. She was already disheveled from the busy day that you've been having, and now more so. This fatigue is definitely setting in.
Okay, Evelyn, honey, you're gonna hate me for doing this, but I think it's for your own good, and I'm gonna take some of the leather straps and strap her down to the bed.
She starts like I said, she's very incoherent, so she's just sort of like mumbling things and like saying random things. She doesn't. It's not 100% clear to you that she even understands what's going on, but she's compliant. She trusts you.
Okay. In one of the neighboring wards, is there still screaming? By the way, is there still like
oh, absolutely.
snarling?
If anything, it's gone from one or two screams here and there to a cacophony of just loud noises.
Can I quickly check one of the neighboring wards really quickly to see if I can find someone else who came in that kind of hysteric state?
You're going over to another ward?
I'm gonna have a peek in just to see just to see if like what's happened to the other patient, because I'm sorry, I feel like they're just now like piecing things together, like, oh fuck, something is going wrong.
So as you step out into the hallway and start heading down, there is an eerie silence in your hall, but you can, like I said, you can hear that distant muffled screaming, and you make your way to the double doors that leads to the next ward. And as you put your hand on the door and you look through the glass window, you see people just sort of like twitchedly, like just kind of like shambling about, and they're dripping with all sorts of bodily fluids. You'd imagine mostly blood, mucus, all the humors, as it were. And you stop fumbling with the door to look and see what's happening. You see doors open. You see blood smeared all over the place, and yeah.
Oh shit! I am at fucking ground zero for this. I suppose the next best thing is to try and get the fuck out of the hospital.
Okay, so
sorry, Evelyn.
I mean, she's fine. She's tied down. She'll be locked in her room.
God willed it. So
she's in as well.
There's your providence. So
yeah, I'm gonna lock the room that she's in as well to make sure that nobody can get into her.
Okay. As you look in the room and see her, she's just asleep on the bed, or she's still. And you start making your way towards a fire escape, which I believe would have started becoming common in the late 20s because of all the fires. And you step your way out a window, and you notice the first thing that you notice as you like get out the window is there's no sounds of traffic. Like like normally you're used to hearing like an occasional beep or like people driving by, but the only thing you can hear is far off in the distance, just like people skirting and like flying, and you hear loud destructive noises like slams, gunshots, all sorts of just maniacal things that you're pretty sure you've heard a few of your World War I patients talk about this sort of thing, and you wonder if you're experiencing some sort of hysterical flight of illusion, but you're not sure. You know your current instinct is to just get out. Do you have a vehicle?
No.
Okay, so you're looking for a cab, perhaps.
Possibly, maybe. It depends how. Since it's quiet with the traffic, I might just stick to walking for now.
Okay.
But trying to be like really quiet and kind of unassuming.
Okay. So you make your way down to the street, and as I said, it's really quiet. This hospital that you're at is usually bustling. Like there's people coming and going from the hospital nonstop. There's I believe like hospital. I don't think they would have had ambulances at this time. I think they would have been called like hospital trucks.
Hmm.
And then they were just coming and going. But now there's nothing. There's a silence. There's a bunch of cars sitting still on the street, and you start like making your way out to the actual main roads. You see like the occasional person just like shambling around.
Mm,
Not unlike the patients that you saw in the ward over.
I don't think I want to engage with the Shambly boys after seeing them, covered in blood and wandering around a hospital. Gonna try and sneak on by, try and aim to get home, I guess.
Okay. Would you like to make some sort of roll to represent how you are getting home?
Yes, let's see what I can do. What can I do? Do you know what? I'm gonna argue for this. Can I use perhaps spot hidden to try and see if I can find like a less traveled route?
I think spot hidden would be okay. I'm gonna make this a hard success though, since like everything's different now, and okay.
My spot hidden is 50.
All right, yeah, that's a hard success. Just shy of an extreme too. So okay, you do manage to find your way through some alleyways and some shadier little bits, but you don't see the people that normally gave you the heebie-jeebies. You know, those thugs dressed up in nice suits and wearing hats, and you could have sworn you've seen them wave around knives or guns at people. It's just very quiet. And then you're probably a block or two away from your flat, and you turn. And as soon as you turn, you see a massive group. I'm talking, if you had to guess, probably about 50, 60 people just sort of like all gathered around in one spot,
What the fuck?
all like herded together like sheep.
Are they are they all watching something, or can I determine if they're twitching? I guess not twitching, but like unusual, being on a bit unusual.
These figures look as though they're being drugged by marionette strings. They're not like you and I, where we have bodily autonomy, that we can like move a hand and know that we're moving it. It just seems like they're being drugged by their shoulders forward. And the only thing keeping them upright are the muscle and bone that remain.
What the fuck? That's in character. She should probably just not shout it, but said it out loud.
Shout it.
Yeah.
Shout
What
it
the
fuck?
What the fuck? It's like loud as possible.
Roll a new character.
So, you feel yourself. Make a sanity roll for me.
Oh no! But see if this is really, really bad. It's another
So it
D100, right?
begins.
Oh
Yeah, that's
God.
So it begins.
My
So
insanity is 75.
first
Sanity, sorry,
roll. Let's go. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay. That's surprisingly low. You're gonna lose 2 sanity.
Okay. I need to mark that down 1 second.
And yes, I'm rolling physical dice. I want to keep the suspense in. I'm more in control this way.
That's marked down. Oh no.
So
Okay.
you fail your sanity check. So you seize up. You completely freeze. You know, there's the I don't believe this was a commonly discussed medical thing at the time, but there's the fight, flight, freeze. Out of character, we know that those things exist. You are in the freeze moment. You are not sure what to do. Your thoughts are racing. Your immediate thought is to get back to your apartment, and that way you'll be safe and wait for the police to clear this up. Never Squid, thanks for the follow. Much love. And your mind starts racing. Oh, I should get back to the hospital. I need to get back to work. It's just like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like, work is not work anymore. It is a hot zone for whatever this. It is ground zero. The worst sort of like epidemic you've seen is the Spanish flu, and this doesn't even remotely resemble Spanish flu. people didn't just start like mindlessly walking around with a Spanish flu with the craving of like attacking and eating people. And as you're frozen, one of these figures just like swivels towards you and like turns its head up, and you see that its eyes are completely dehydrated. They are just I'm not gonna go into complete detail because I was told not to do eye stuff, but they don't have working eyes. I'll say that much.
Oh shit.
And they start walking towards you, just like shuffling towards you, like one leg over the other. And the thing that you would imagine is this person looks as though both of their ankles are broken, yet they're somehow managing to stay upright on their feet and just shuffle towards you. And they start moving faster and faster once they realize that you are indeed not one of it.
Oh no.
And it starts like making noise, and you see a few of the herd like turn towards you as this noise is happening, and they seem to recognize sound, and they start heading towards this guy and breaking off. They start sort of flowing towards you. What do you do?
It depends how long I'm frozen for, I guess. Like she's
You're no longer. This is the moment that you unfreeze.
Okay. Gonna just run in the opposite direction. Just gonna break into a full-on sprint. Just fuck that. I'm done. I can't deal with that.
All right. As you're running off, we'll move to the next person. So, let's see here. I believe
It's me.
that would be Hannibal. So, Hannibal, what do you do?
So this is just day in the life for me.
Day in the life, boss.
So Hannibal, wakes up in a sweat, obviously from another nightmare. Going to immediately roll a cigarette and start smoking. Kind of, all right, and pull myself together a little bit, get dressed, and I know that my sister has a big show today, so I'm gonna probably head down to the nearest shop. Nothing too fancy because I am a little broke at the moment. I'm not very liquid. I'm gonna try and get a new tie, something so that it's like, oh, I'm like dressing up, but it's like I don't want it to be obvious that I tried to care about this. So
That's fair. You want to care. You want to care, but you don't want to show that you care that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typical toxic masculinity. I know all about it.
Yeah. So I'll head, downstairs, and I've been since I can't afford an office and an apartment, I will leave my office/apartment and head downstairs and try and find. I assume I live since I do have an office here, like it was originally an office space that I live like near some shops, so I'm going to try and find a shop.
Chicago's bustling with storefronts.
Still walk to her actual show.
Yeah, Chicago's no New York. There is not like street peddlers everywhere you go, but there are so many different walks of life here that probably came from New York.
Yeah. I'm gonna have my switchblade in my sock as usual, and then I'm gonna have my 45 in my shoulder holster. I keep my rifle in the trunk of my car, so I'm just gonna leave that there since it's parked on the street, and I got a good parking spot. I'm not moving unless I gotta move.
Okay. So the only weapon you have on you at the moment is a switchblade, correct?
I have my 45.
Okay. So you're making your way to, I suppose department stores would exist in 1928. Yeah. I believe it would be like a JCPenney.
I had Macy's and JCPenney.
I'll let you decide. I don't think it really matters that much, but
I'll go. I'm not ordering out of the Sears catalog, so I'll go to an actual Macy's, I assume.
Okay.
I know that they should have a Chicago location at this time. So I'll head down to Macy's because there I can get some ammo and I can get a tie.
So as you're heading down the street, and you know exactly where the Macy's is, you've been there many times. As you're heading down the street, somebody just like completely body checks you, just like slams into your shoulder. Just some fella.
I'm gonna like do the little like hold my arms out, kind of waiting for an apology.
He keeps walking, and he looks troubled, and you hear like sniffling and like fidgeting, and they just keep walking, and they're not even like fully walking. They look just sort of look like they're sick.
Now, I've lost a few friends in the Palmer raids. Do I think that this dude is like on something? Because I know what opiates look like.
If you had to guess, yes, it seems like they have some sort of like opioid fever.
I'm gonna like, probably pick up my cigarette because I'm sure I dropped it, and like flick off the ashes and relight it, and just try and. All right. Doctor said to not let your anger get the best of you. It's fine. Asshole! And I'm going to then turn and just keep walking down the street.
So you make your way to the Macy's, and you see all these signs that just like, get a suit, get fitted for a suit, walk out with a brand new suit jacket today, $3. Like stuff like that. Just like, and then something. You're distracted because you're going there to get yourself a suit, and that looks like a great deal. But you see in the window that there is a buy one get one deal on shotgun shells. For every box you buy, they'll give you 50% off.
I could always get shells. I mean, I have a 30-06, but like, that is a good deal.
Deal's a deal.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm spending $3 on a suit, I might as well try and get some kind of deal. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money. So I'm gonna go in and try and immediately head over to the home goods so I can get some shells because I'm gonna get that first, and then I'll pick up the tie on my way out.
Sure thing. So we're a $3 suit is like ludicrously cheap. Like that is insane. Like, so you can't. These either are going to be like crap tier suits, or maybe you just got lucky. So you head inside, and there's a salesman, a portlier fellow, bald, has a small, thin pencil mustache, and he has his Oxford collar buttoned up so much to where his extra chin is sort of just like pouring over it, and he like holds his hands up. How you doing today, Sonny? What can I get you?
I'm getting a tie. I want something to look a little nice, maybe a new jacket. I see the deal that you have, and I need to pick up some shells.
Ah, you came to the right place. No suit, no tie, and some shotgun shell. Well, we can get all that set up right for you. You want to come right this way, sir? I could show you to the suits. We have an excellent selection.
I don't need a hard sell. Show me where it is, and I'll pick out what I want, and then we can bring me up, and we can be done with this transaction. You get your commission, I'll get what I want. We don't have to do all of this.
Oh yes, sir, of course. So whatever the customer wants. What color? What color are you looking for?
Black.
Black. You going to a funeral, Sonny?
And there is a moment where I'm like, I really want to be like, yeah, I'm going to your funeral, but I'm gonna like, how about navy then?
Navy blue. Good choice. Good choice. Let me see if I can find something for you. What size are you, son? You look like a fetching tall fella.
44 long.
Understood. Okay, just give me one moment. And you see him go over to like this big rack of suits, and they're obviously cheap. I mean, there's no way in hell you get a suit for $3 unless they were just like ridiculously cheap. And he's like going through all of them. Son, would you like a new pair of suspenders to go with that suit today?
Now I can hold my pants up just fine.
Understood. Understood. We do got suspenders for 50 cents.
Yeah, well, everything's expensive when you're broke. So just the jacket, and I need a tie, something nice but not too nice, and the shells.
Oh, I know all about it, son. He like wave his hand at you, and he has like all these rings on his fingers. And as he's getting everything ready for you, and you look over to your right, and you see the hunting department. Like has all these like nice elaborate setups of like these big old moose. I almost said meese. These big old like moose statues, and guns racked up on the wall, and then there's all these brands like Remington and all the like. And you see that sick guy. He comes stumbling in the front door as you're waiting for this fellow to get all your stuff for you that you requested.
I'm gonna kind of like narrow my eyes a bit. Just on the off chance that he followed me because I called him an asshole, I'm gonna move over to the hunting. I will quickly say an aside to the salesman, but just get it all boxed up and take your time. I'm gonna pick something up. I'll be right back, and I will head over to the hunting stuff so I can kind of like have my not fully have my back to him because I don't like having my back to anybody, but I'm gonna like 3/4 so I can keep an eye on him, but also like he can't see my face and I can pick up some shells and kind of fumble through stuff.
Absolutely. So they have all the different gauges of shells, so like 10 through 20. And you notice that their 12 gauge shells are pretty expensive. For a box of 25, it's nearly $1. It's like, ooh, it's pretty rough because you remember, a year ago you could get them for about 70 cents. But regardless, that guy that bumped into you as you're like looking over the shelves and stuff like that. That guy that bumped into you is like heading towards just like he seems to just be shuffling towards this salesman who's going through all these things and like putting a bunch of suits over his arms to see if you would like one over the other. And yeah, what do you do?
I'm gonna kind of like turn so I can see him a little more clearly. But is there many people? I don't assume like right at this time. It's probably pretty quiet inside.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the day. It's like what time did you leave?
I wake up pretty early with my alarm / nightmare, so probably like 8 in the morning at the latest.
Yeah, the only people that would be there would be housewives and stuff like that.
Yeah, I imagine I get there pretty much.
But then there's like 3 or 4 women just off like shopping elsewhere in the massive store. So you're pretty much alone with that with this weird shuffling guy nearby and the salesman.
I'm gonna stamp out my cigarette, and I'm gonna like keep a half distance, like maybe 20 feet. But I want to be, if he's gonna try and start some shit, I want to be like far enough away that I can run if I need to, or far enough I can run up and punch him in the face if I need to.
Okay. So you're completely distracted from buying your shells now as you're watching this guy shambling, and the salesman looks over at the shuffling guy. Hello there, sir. Good day to you. Good morning. Can I get something for you? Give me just a moment, though. I am taking care of another customer. And the guy's like still shuffling towards him. You look like you could use a new tie, son. Maybe a handkerchief. You're kind of snotting everywhere. It says he like pulled out his handkerchief and offered it to him, and this shambling guy just kind of like stops in his tracks. And like his head sort of lunges over. All right, son. Chin up a bit. What's that? A woman got you down? And you're just sort of watching, and this sick fellow just kind of like slumps over into the salesman. Hey, buddy, I'm not sure that this is good for public appearances. It says he was like giving him like a pat on the back, like there. What do you do?
I'm gonna take a few steps closer because I know, like I said, if I think that he's on opiates or something, I know that like this can get out of hand pretty fast. So I'm gonna move in. I'm gonna address the salesman and be like, "All right, you need any help with him?"
Should be fine, unless he's not a paying customer, of course. He'd flash you a wink, and then his face, that's like this sort of like greasy car salesman sort of like smile that he has on his face, the dimples, the eye crease, like he's trying to give a genuine smile. It just like contorts into a look of pain as you realize that he's just been attacked in some way, shape, or form. You're not sure how, but both of them drop to the floor, and the guy lets out. You can tell he's had the wind knocked out of him because he's not making any actual. The salesman's not making any actual noises right now.
I'm gonna rush forward and grab the guy by the shoulder and by his suspenders and pull him away.
The
The attacker.
yeah. So he turns around and he's going to try to lash out at you. So what's your dexterity?
My dexterity, 70.
Okay. You
Oh,
go
heck
first.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, if he's coming straight at me, fuck it, I'm gonna kick him in the chest.
Go ahead, boss. Make an attack for me.
That's brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, hard success.
Let's see here. Okay, so go. What's your damage for me?
So for my brawling, it should be. Okay. Oh, hang on. How do I check just my? Because I have switchblade.
Do you have a what's your build?
My build.
Yes.
Where do I see that?
Let me see. Yeah.
It's like
Your build will be under your combat if you're looking at the Call of Cthulhu on.
Oh, 0.
Okay, so it'll just be a D3, I believe.
Oh, fantastic. Can I do that on Roll20? No, I'll just do a D6 and you know how to.
Okay.
5, so 3.
So let's see here. Just double checking, making sure that fist is literally just D3.
It's either D3 or D4, depending on your build bonus, I believe, right?
It would be a D3 plus a D4 if you had a build of 1. So I think it's just a D3. So you rolled 3 damage. You said.
Yeah.
Okay. So you.
I'm basically just like rearing back, and I'm gonna kick him. I'm going for like the kind of shoulder clavicle area, so I can knock him backwards.
Okay, you give him a good firm kick. Like you hit him solid, and he didn't seem to really. It kind of like sent him backwards. Just kind of like almost like throwing a rag doll. But it didn't seem to stop him, and he's going to move towards you. He's going to attempt to hit you.
Okay.
It's like fling himself at you. Let's see. Okay. So the way this fella is fighting is, that's rough. As we're off to a good start. I already crit. So,
Love to see it.
extreme success. Gotta love it. So, this guy comes towards you, and he like slashes at you, and he like completely rips the shirt that you're wearing and like tears through and like rips parts of your flesh. You're going to take 3 damage. I know that's like, oh, but
I know that's bad.
Yeah.
Don't have a lot of hit points, so.
And it takes days of healing to get them back, too.
what you doing?
If he like just straight rips my shirt and this and that,
This guy ripped your shirt and then like carved out flesh.
yeah. I'm not fucking around with this. I'm gonna take my 45 and I'm gonna shoot him in the stomach.
That's fair. Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
Okay.
I'll give you a D10 bonus since you're point blank.
Okay. That's an extreme success.
Sure. What's the damage of that?
Okay, so damage. Oh, sorry, should have. Okay, well, 6.
Okay, so when you roll an extreme success, it does maximum damage. So you're doing 12.
Oh, okay, 12.
So where you shoot him? In the head?
No, I'm trying to stop him. Like, I don't want to just waste some dude in Macy's, but I
That's what
will
I'm gonna
say,
name this
as
episode.
he comes out, I'm just going to just like yank my 45 from my shoulder holster, and I'm going to like shoot him right in the stomach, and I'm aiming to get like not his heart, but like his stomach, so I can slow him down. But I'm sure with that, I hit spine or something.
You definitely hit something vital, and you shoot him, and for a moment he's like still moving towards you, and then he just like falls over straight on his face, and as he falls on his face you can hear the crunch of his nose breaking. He there's no autonomy there. He didn't even like try to put his hands out to stop himself from, like breaking his face. And you just see him painted, and then blood starts pooling out from beneath his coat. And behind, now that you have a clear view, you can see that salesman on the ground, and he's just completely lifeless. And you see that there's this massive, like, chomp wound, like right here, and he's just bleeding profusely all over the place. And some of the women come over to see you just fired off a gun in the middle of a Macy's. So, not like gunfire is exactly rare in Chicago, but at the same time, gunfire is still unsettling. So these women come over, a couple of these women come over to see what happened, and they scream. They're like, "Oh my God, what's going on here?"
I'm gonna immediately scream at them to call the police, and I'm going to go literally out the door and like look and try and find if there's like a street cop or something.
Yeah, there actually is a street cop like running towards you. They seem to have heard the gunshot, and they're wondering what's going on. Are you still holding the gun?
No, I holstered it.
Uh, the cop gets up to you.
I'm going to wave him over. Be like, we got a big fucking problem. So, sorry, we got a problem. This man just attacked the salesman. And I'm gonna show that he like attacked me. Be like, I shot him. I had to.
The cop's just like nodding, like, okay, well, all right, look, stay here. I'm gonna go make a phone call. I'm gonna get an ambulance over here. Stay put, please. This is my first week on the job. I don't even know what's going on. And he's just gonna like put his hands up, just stay there, please. And he's gonna like go over to a police box and like open it up. Operator, get the hospital on the line, please. I need an ambulance immediately.
This poor dude.
Oh, he's gonna die. So
Yeah.
I'm going
It's
to
either the first week on the job or the last week.
Look back and forth, and then I'm like, I am shaking because I'm really debating just bolting from this.
That is an option.
How is everyone like the ladies obviously are still screaming, I assume?
Absolutely, yeah. They're screaming, they're panicking, and some of them are getting a little bit curious and like getting closer to the cadavers.
I'm going to look back at the guy that I shot, and I'm going to start approaching because I want to see if he has like any ID or anything in his pocket.
Sure. Okay. So as you approach, and are you doing like the full like LA noir, like stepping over and like straddling and like crouching and then like
No,
I'm not.
I'm not doing none of that. I'm gonna get up to him and like I'm going to at most like grab his coat. Is he wearing? Well, you said yes.
He's wearing a suit. Yeah, full suit.
He's wearing a suit. Okay, so I'm gonna like try and grab like at the button so I can see if he has anything in his pocket, like in his coat pocket.
So you do find an ID in there, and you see that you look through it, and he has a passport. He's an Italian immigrant. He's just a regular Joe. Like he's not anybody special or anybody, It just seemed like a regular person. Hell, he even has a driver's license, and which I believe were a thing.
But he doesn't have. Yeah, he doesn't have no needles, no paraphernalia.
No, this guy just looks like a clean cut dude. Like, and what freaks you out is you're like looking over his information. He just looks like his name was Giorgio, like literally just a regular Giorgio. And as you're like looking over his information, you swear that you see him twitch. Just like
I'm going to immediately just like full speed, like rush backward. I'm going to look around in every direction, and I'm going to like take myself and try and breathe and see if I'm in the middle of a nightmare, because this is a pretty common nightmare for me.
Okay. This won't lead to sanity deduction, but please make a sanity check for me.
Okay. Failure.
you're pretty sure that you're just asleep. It's one of those nightmares that you're having that you just can't like quite get out of, but you know that you'll get out of it eventually. It's sort of like it's a waking nightmare. You'll be awake soon.
I'm going to try and breathe, center myself for a moment. Okay, I'm gonna wake up, and I am going to look down at him, and I'm going to look over at the salesman. How was that cop coming with that call?
So you can't keep track of the time right now, considering you're in a dream. But you think about a minute's passed, and you see this young police officer come like rushing around the corner. He's wearing his like navy blue coat and his hat, and he like opens up the front door. All right, look, I just called an ambulance. They'll be here, and they well actually okay they didn't get back to me, but we're gonna figure something out. Are both are they both dead?
I'm gonna look at him. My name is Corporal Hannibal Riggs. You gotta pay attention to me. You understand me? All right.
Yes, sir.
I live upstairs at the end of the block. If you need to talk to me, you find me there. But otherwise, you leave me the fuck alone. And I'm going to run out into the street. I'm going to go to my car and try and check the trunk and see if my rifle is in there.
Yeah, you fumble with your keys, and you leave this cop just kind of like standing there, just like, what the hell is going on? And you get the trunk open, and yeah, your gun's there, just where you left it.
And I'm going to very carefully like check, make sure that it's. Well, I'm going to check the safety and take a moment, check my 45. I'm going to look around. Okay, anytime, now. Anytime. Come on. And I'm going to look around. Are you there? And I'm going to try and feel at my face and feel if there's a gas mask there.
You feel skin, and as you're sort of like zeroing out on yourself, that this police officer comes over to you, and he sounds so far away. He sounds like he's underwater, just like you can just barely hear him like muffled. He's like trying to get your attention. And he's like yelling and waving, and he starts like coming into clear view of you.
I'm gonna stumble backward. I will have my rifle in my hand. Be like, I'm not gonna point at him, but I'm going home. I'm going home. Leave me alone,
sir. There's someone. There's. He's like pointing. He's behind you.
And I'm gonna turn and see where he's pointing.
There's this person that's just. They weren't shambling like that guy that bit down on the salesman. They are like bounding forward, almost like a wild animal towards you, and they're growling.
I'm just in a bad nightmare. I'm gonna try and shoot him.
Okay, make a roll for me. Rifles.
Failure.
Okay, so let me see here. So you miss, and you know that you miss, and you are thankful that you miss because, hey, getting attacked by this thing, you'll probably wake up. But as it's right upon you, you just hear like a gunshot, and you see its head just get splattered all over the brick wall, and you immediately flip your head to the right, and that police officer is standing there like trembling, and he's holding his service pistol.
Rescue this police officer, animal.
I'm going to turn back to him, and I'm going to try and breathe again and look at. All right.
He was running at you. He was gonna hurt you. I swear. I wouldn't have done it unless.
No, he did the right thing. It's all right. I'm gonna wake up in just a few minutes. It's totally fine. It's all right.
Sir, I don't think we're in a dream right now. I really wish we were. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I don't know what's going on, but I'm I think I'm hysterical.
Alright.
I just killed a man in the street.
I'm going to look around. Do I still think I'm in a nightmare?
Make another sanity check.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Failure.
you'll wake up eventually. You don't know what's going to do it. This is going to be one of those long ones. And that's what we'll cut over to one of our other players. Who rolled higher than I think Elise got a 6.
That's me.
Could you fix your iPad a little bit, hon? I can like barely hear you.
How about now?
That's better.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Just make sure to speak up just a little bit more. And you should be good. Okay. So, Miss Dottie Lewis, what are you doing today? Or were you doing the previous evening even? Whatever you like.
Well, what day of the week is it?
Thursday.
Thursday. Of course it is. It's Thursday. I'll say that she was singing. She was singing at the lounge at the Swan Dive the night before. And subsequently she had to work the next day as a chauffeur for one of her clients. And she's really tired. She's out of it. She's just kind of half awake while she's driving this guy on all the errands he needs to go to around town.
Okay. And this man is this like sort of like what kind of man is this that you're driving around?
A man of note, some made man who is important enough to deserve a chauffeur.
Okay. So, what time of day is it? And are you currently driving him?
I'll say it's like the early afternoon. She took him out to his lunch and is driving him around to his afternoon appointments.
Okay. You're sort of like waiting around the car, probably burning a pile of cigarettes just outside your window. And he comes outside, and he's just like shaking his head, and he's burning a cigarette too, like just flicks it off, and he climbs himself back into the car, not even expecting you to open the door for him. He just like sits back down in the car, and it's clear that whatever engagement he just had at this restaurant didn't go very well. There wasn't any sort of like gunfire or anything like that, but it was just clearly an unpleasant conversation.
What are we gonna name him? What's his name?
Vincent.
Vincent. All right.
Shout out to A&Bar Cartography, by the way.
All right. Dottie opened the door to get out and get the door for him, and then he just climbed in, so she just shut it and started the car. Is something the matter, Mr. Vince?
Yeah. Got a couple of assholes that don't want to pay up. You know, you give them all the booze that they want, but they suddenly think that they're the cream of the crop. They wouldn't be shit without us. Fucking nerve. And then you got some weird fella in the back having a moment. He's freaking out, starts swinging at people. They took him out back. Probably gave him a, what is that? What do they call it? A Manhattan sunrise.
Are you sure he wasn't just an epileptic? She'd be leaning out the window and signaling she was going to get onto the street if they were talking.
What's an epileptic? Is that like a nationality I don't know about? Is that a place in like Eastern Europe?
Sure. Just shake her head like, oh my god.
There'd be a very distant sound of gunfire, and they'd like look over. Chicago wind chimes. Lovely. This early too.
Middle of the day, they're getting started.
It's probably the Irish. Don't really blame them either. Take me home, would you? Getting sick of this shit. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel the rest of my appointments for the day. Not like you need to know about any of this.
Oh, yes,
You pulled off onto the road. The road was surprisingly clear, but like I said, day in the life. Like, I mean, there's not like there's a whole lot of automobiles in 1929, but still, Chicago would be the place to see them. You know, you're just south of Motor City, not by too much.
Instead of heading down to the law firm they were supposed to be going to, she'd make a left and head off into the
Could you speak up a little bit for me, honey?
head towards the gated community, or where I'm assuming this man owns his own home. So
Yeah,
gated
no,
community.
it'd be a gated community, and it'd probably still be under construction for the most part.
It's the birth of suburbia.
Yep. You got any big plans this evening?
Nothing special. Probably singing if they've got a shift for me.
Speak up.
Nothing special. Probably just singing if they have a shift for me.
Well, you're a singer?
Yes. So down at the Swan Dive.
I never heard of you.
I'm down pretty frequently. Perhaps you don't recognize me.
Probably not. I've been known to be not so perceptive of when women get all dolled up. My wife got a haircut the other day and I didn't notice it, and she slapped me.
Rightly
She pursed her
so.
lips because she was trying not to laugh.
Hey, she don't notice my haircuts.
To be fair, men usually only get a shave and a trim.
Yeah, and I get a shave and a trim to look nice for the missus. Is that, you know? I think you just get used to looking at certain people a certain way all the time, and your brain just sort of fills in the blanks for you, right? You know what I mean? It's sort of like when you're in the dark and you see a face. It's because your eyes are trying to find something that ain't there. You know? I don't mean to get all
understand what you mean, but perhaps we should stop by the florist anyway.
Oh, you want to get some flowers? Oh, you know, you got a good head on you, kid. I'll give you that much. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all philosophical on you or anything like that.
Did you just say philosophical?
Yeah.
Philosophical.
Deep thoughts about the penis.
Daddy's nose would scrunch like.
No, it's clear that he just didn't know the word and he thought he knew it.
She just keep driving. She's not gonna correct him. Gonna let him keep saying that word to other people because it'll be funny.
Yeah. What kind of flowers do you get for a woman that you want to apologize to? Is there a certain kind of flower that says, "Sorry, I missed your haircut"?
I don't know if those really exist, but do you know her favorite type of flower?
I don't know. Women like roses, right? You like roses?
They're alright. They're a bit cheap, honestly.
What do you think? Petunia, pansies?
Pansies are those little flowers that look like shamrocks, so you don't want to get those.
All right. Well, don't tell me what I don't need to get. Tell me what I do need to get. You just like my wife. You just like.
Except we're not married, lilies.
Yeah,
There's
you're
some
about
white
10 years
lilies.
younger than me.
Get us some tiger lilies. They're exotic and pretty.
A what?
A tiger lily?
Oh, I think you just picked the most expensive one to piss me off.
No, sir, I don't think so.
He likes red and purple. We'll get her something red and purple. Those tiger lilies, are they red and purple?
They're red and orange.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the road. He says, he like pointing straight ahead, like.
Just sigh because she was looking around to check for traffic before she turned, and I was telling her to keep her eyes on.
The road's completely clear. There's no cars in sight except for the ones that are parked. Like, it's just
Backseat driving, mansplaining to me how to drive from the backseat. Yeah.
yeah. So you stop at a yellow stop sign as you're like about to. You like that? You stop at the yellow stop sign, and you there are people sort of like making the rounds. There's a few like shambling and shuffling about, and he like leans forward. He like puts his hand on the seat and like leans forward. I You think that guy's on opiates? I didn't know we were selling anything in this neighborhood. Capone certainly didn't start fucking selling anything in this neighborhood recently.
Well, that doesn't mean he's from here.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, he could be from another part of the city. Perhaps he's just taking himself on a walk.
Thanks for the follow, by the way. Gaynor Cup. Well, he's having a walk. It looks like he's having a gin shuffle. I mean, look at that.
Well, kept the going break. Maybe he got fired.
He got fired for drinking too much of the funny juice. I know what drunk looks like, honey. I've been there. I haven't been high on opiates, and I know that's what that looks like right there. Hold on a second. Pull the car over. Pull the car over.
So I really must protest.
But you take orders from me, okay? Pull the fucking car over.
Say please, and I'll think about it.
I'm not saying please to you. Open the.
She's
pull
gonna
the
just
fucking car
drive.
over.
No, she's just gonna drive. I'm not gonna listen.
He's gonna open it. He's gonna open his door.
Shut the fucking door. She's just gonna hit the gas. She's done with his shit.
That person that was like shambling would start heading towards the car, just like out in the middle of the street. What? You see that motherfucker? You see that? You're heading towards the car.
Yeah, I see him. That's why I'm driving away.
You need to get a look at him. See what he is.
No, you don't. He's inebriated. He'll probably just try to hit you. Or rob you.
It seems like everybody tries to hit me or rob me these days, especially you. How much money I pay you and you can't even pull the fucking car over when I ask you to?
Get over it.
You wouldn't survive in New York.
I actually used to live in New York.
Yeah, now you're here. Figure that one out. He's gonna like sit back in his seat and light up another cigarette.
At the next stop sign, she's gonna brace herself, but she's gonna slam on the brakes before she does so.
You fucking trying to kill me? He's like set forward as his hat came like tumbling over into the front seat.
Sorry, my footsteps.
Are you fucking testing my patience right now?
I don't know what you're talking about. There's an accident.
Because right now it's a fucking failing grade, I'll tell you that much, Toots. Do that shit again and I'll fucking paint you all over the windshield, you understand me? Nearly give me a fucking heart attack. I'm going on 40. I gotta worry about that shit now, you know? It says he started like lighting up another cigarette and he took a drag on it. You see a couple more of those like shambling bodies like making their way about in the street. Okay, look, we're 2 or 3 blocks over, and I'm just pull over.
Her nose would scrunch as she watched these people acting in the exact same way, wondering what was going on, and her curiosity would get the better of her, and she actually would slow down and pull into an empty spot on the curb. What are they?
Yeah, this ain't right. They look like regular. These aren't opiate users. I know what an opiate user looks like. They don't look like regular people like them. Oh, keep the car ready. I'll be right back. He's gonna open the door and step out, and you see him like tuck his hand into his coat, and there was a woman, looked like a flapper, and dressed really nice, but she looked sickly. And
was she like in her party outfit from the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have like the window down or?
Yeah, she's got the windows rolled down. She's gonna take out a cigarette and just watch the show while this guy goes and tries to harass some poor drunk person, quote unquote.
Thank you all for that, by the way. Put a lot of effort into this, and so did my players. So thank them too. They're doing a great job. So Vince, he's sort of like walking up to this woman, and he's in the like the friendly sort of Italian way. He's like putting a hand on her arm and like trying to talk to her, and this woman is like starts like swinging at him like feebly, just like her arm is just like the only thing moving is her shoulder, like swinging herself at him, and it just like kind of hits him in the side, and you can hear him. What's your problem? Are you okay? Got too much of the? You been to the gin mill lately? Is that what's bothering you? And this he's like backing himself up, like, hey, this is a $200 suit. Could you back the fuck off? Howdy, you got the car running?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna take this guy over. We're gonna take him over to. You know what? Yeah, let's head back because I actually got some questions for Capone's guys. And he like, come on, man. And if you'd come with me, we'll get this all settled and figured out. You're not about yourself right now. And this woman just like, that's nice. Come on. And he's just kind of like walking along, and she's following him, shambling after him. Like and her shoulders are sort of like moving forward, and her arms are sort of like up. She's out of her fucking mind. See this shit? This might be.
Claudia's in the middle of taking a drag off her cigarette, and she just kind of squints.
This might be heroin, actually. It's man, can I see your arms for a second? No problem whatsoever. Just and this woman like lunges at him, and he just like steps out of the way, and she like hits the curb. Jesus fucking Christ! What is wrong with you? You just.
Sir, why don't we just find a telephone and call the police?
What do you think? I'm gonna call the police on some? Yeah, go find a phone. I'm gonna make sure that she didn't just like actually fucking off herself.
She'd sigh, turn off the car, and grab her purse and things, and go striding down the street, looking for a building that probably would be big enough to have a telephone, like a general store or a bank or something.
Yeah, you see one of like the massive like warehouse buildings, and it just like has a big smiling guy on it painted, and he has a cigarette in his hand. It's just like it says "Smoke for Real, Chesterfield Cigarettes." And you do eventually come across the public phone. As you open the door, you see somebody's like crouched down inside of it with their hands over their head. It looked like a younger, it looked like a younger man wearing a cap, a shirt, suspenders, and pants. They clearly were at work at one point today.
Sorry, I didn't realize this was taking. Can I?
Oh God! Are you one of them?
What do you mean, one of them? Are you being a racist?
No, of course not. There's people shambling around. One of them lunged at me today, and they look like regular people, but they're nuts. Are you nuts? Are you gonna like try to eat me or something?
What are you talking about? What do you mean eat? Is this because I'm British?
I didn't know you was British.
You don't recognize the accent.
I thought people from Philly talked like that.
No matter. You mean they look like regular people and are trying to...
They look like you.
What?
Yeah. They look like you, but they have like this weird thing in their eyes, and they're not like moving around like you and me. You'd like stand himself up, and he'd be like pumping his arms like this, and they just walking around like jumping at people.
There was a woman down on the street like that.
I tried to call the police, but I couldn't get a hold of anybody. Dead line. The operator didn't even answer.
She'd look down the street in the direction of Vincent and then back at the telephone, and she'd step into the box with him and start trying to get the operator to pick up and like clicking the receiver.
Nothing. Deadline. You'd hear like,
What in the hell?
what would be the stat kind of cracking?
This phone's shot. She'd hang up the tool and
Are you saying somebody shot it?
no, it's there's no operator. Or it's not connected. I don't know.
Did everybody just decide not to go into work today and get high instead? I wasn't.
Looks like it. Is there a department store or a bank or something around here that could have a telephone? I'm not the familiar part of the city.
This phone was working just fine yesterday. I had to make a call to a warehouse. Why would it stop working today?
Oh, the warehouse. Come on.
Well, the only phone in there is the boss's, and I'm not allowed to use the boss's phone.
Well, I'm not you.
It's like brain like stop working for a second. You can kind of like see that on his head. I guess that makes sense. It's just like it goes to follow you to the warehouse. And as you approach the warehouse, you can very clearly tell that this is literally just a distributing facility for cigarettes. There's just like cartons upon cartons of cigarettes, just sort of like in crates and stuff like that, and a bunch of men just kind of like waiting around, like loading stuff up, hoisting things up on pulleys and stuff like that, loading things into the back of the truck.
Where's the office?
So you take those stairs right there, and they lead up to that office. I'll go with you because I don't want the boss thinking that I just let some lady in here for no reason.
She'd just kind of nod and grab him by the sleeve, like, "Come on, stop dragging your feet."
I'm David, by the way.
Dottie, nice to meet you. I suppose.
That's a funny name. Is that like a British thing?
No, my name's just Dorothy. It's a nickname.
Oh, that's a British thing. I never heard of a woman named Dorothy before. Well, actually, I did, but she was really old. I didn't mean anything by that. I'm sorry. It's just like going up the stairs with you.
You talk too much.
My dad used to tell me that I talk too much, but I don't think I did. My mom said I didn't really talk that much.
She's just gonna walk up the stairs and knock on the door. And
you gotta put. You just like slam on the door. Hey, boss, there's a lady here. She needs to use your telephone. Boss. And they put his ear to the door, and the door would open. And
she'd
like
push it open.
this big mean looking dude that was completely shaved bald, but just like looked out. What do you want? Hey, I just said that this lady. Shut the fuck
She'd
up.
just gotta like really crush him.
I was talking to the lady. What do you want? Don't tell me you want a job.
No, I don't actually. I have one already.
So what the fuck do you want? I'm busy.
Yes, well, there's been an accident out on the street, and I need to use your telephone. The public one isn't working. If you'd be so kind.
Look down at David, and David just like nods, like this is true. Make it quick. I pay by the minute.
Thank you. Should step past him and head over to it and start turning the rotary to dial the operator.
This office was super nice. Like the rest of the warehouse was just a shit tier warehouse, but this office is like super nice. Big mahogany desk. This guy was eating a steak, and he had a plate with a steak, potatoes, and asparagus on it. He was literally just having dinner in the middle of the day and having a great time. Wasn't doing any work. And
Does he have a cigar?
Oh no, that's for later. He does have a humidor with him.
I see.
So you pick up his telephone and ask for the operator. Correct.
Operator, please put me in touch with the police. There's been an accident.
What are you calling the police down here for?
I've just said twice there's been an accident.
You can call a fucking ambulance. What are you, dense? I don't need any police down here.
Operator, put me in touch with the police.
You get no response.
She'd click the receiver again. Your line's dead.
I just used that phone this morning. What the fuck are you talking about? You know how to use the thing?
She'd hand him the receiver, like, look.
He'd take it from you, like, really aggressively. And just, operating. I need an ambulance. He'd look at you pointedly, like, did you fucking break it? It says he, like, picked up the phone and he was, like, looking at it.
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, you saw me pick it up. That's all I did was click the receiver.
Looks like we got a bigger problem on our hands than we thought. Phone line's dead. And you said the one outside's dead too?
Yes, I did.
You got a vehicle? Were you with somebody? Husband, maybe?
I was with my employer.
Where is he now?
He was tending to the woman involved in the accident.
Hey, why don't you take this woman and go with him? So they bring the car around over here. Seems like there's a bit of a pressing issue going on. Yes, sir. Hey, lady, Dottie, Dorothy.
Dottie.
Let's
Yeah.
like trees.
Post haste. She'd just kind of take off, like she didn't want to be around the boss guy anymore.
Let's post haste me. He says he was like following you along.
Quickly.
Oh, that's a British thing.
It's really not.
Okay.
More gets transferred.
So,
Is it or isn't it? I won't reveal.
Posthaze was invented in Britain by Jonathan H. Posthaze.
Actually, we originated the language.
So, you make your way out to the street, and you see that you're making your way up to Vincent, and Vincent's like literally holding this woman off of him. And Vincent isn't a big dude. He's like 5'8", 5'9", if he stands fully to his full height. And this woman is like really like putting some force on him because like he's having trouble keeping his ground. He's like trying to keep her off of him.
What is she doing?
What does it fucking look like she's doing? She's trying to eat me. What are you, stupid?
What? She'd look over at David like, what the hell?
See what I was saying? They're eating people.
Yeah, alright, she's gonna go get the door for Vincent. So I'm gonna stop the car, get in as I'm driving off so she doesn't get you.
Are you fucking kidding me? You're not gonna help her get her off of me right now? He's just like holding her a bit.
Look, alright, back up to the door. She's gonna open it for him, and then shut it once you get in. Get her off you.
Lady, I'm a married man. I'm not interested. It says he just like pushed her and he like left into the car.
David, get in.
Okay. He sit it down in the car next to this gangster. What the hell are they putting in the water here in Chicago?
She's gonna hit the gas and pull away from the curb before this lady can break a window or something.
Okay. All right, so you're at the warehouse, and we'll cut over to another person, which I believe we have Kat and Omni left, correct?
I think it's me next.
Because Omni
Yeah.
rolled his
like an
agile
86. It wasn't even close.
Omni's first roll was great. It's so high, which I heard that you had to roll really high in this game.
Yeah, to
That's
win.
It's the
right.
You win the
opposite. You
game.
want to roll low. So I
Is
rolled
that-
the most piss poor possible roll short of 99.
Oh, you rolled
So,
badly?
yeah,
Oh.
I'm good
Oh.
with that. You
I
all get to
completely
go
didn't
first.
get that vibe at all from your
Omni
reaction.
rolling badly? I've never heard of that.
In a
Nah.
Call of Cthulhu game?
No,
I
in a
should have
red
tuned in this
game.
coming Wednesday for Deathwatch. Oh. Day in the life, huh?
A day in the life of Sylvie LaBelle. Well, today is Sylvie was out last night. She was partying the night away. She's somewhat of a social butterfly. And it was a launch party because today, as she wakes up, is gonna mark her big debut moment on screen, on the big screen. She is in a silent film adaptation of of Dracula, and she is playing Mina Harker. So she is very excited. So she wakes up. She should be waking up with a raging hangover, but when she parties, she doesn't really drink. She watches and files all of the gossip away so that she can kind of use it against people when and where she wants to. So this morning she's woken up quite early. She's feeling very bright, very chipper, and she is desperately applying her makeup. Knowing that her good friend Mavis will be here any moment, her best frenemy, I should say, Mavis will be here any moment, hoping to catch her looking absolutely wretched. So she must make sure that that doesn't happen. And sure enough, I think she's in a quite fancy looking apartment, because she's kind of a big deal. And she has a telephone, and she kind of sure enough, Mavis will kind of call through to her and say that she's on her way, and she'll tell Mavis that she's absolutely feeling wretched. She's having the worst.
Oh.
Oh no.
This is
It's
lost
only when
cat.
Cat has to speak that they drop out.
Figures. Absolutely figures, right? So sorry, Cat.
Bo, 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 bo. Okay, we'll just wait.
How's everybody feeling? We having a good time? First episode, I'm already at 3/4 health. Love it. Love it.
I mean, welcome to the
Yeah.
game
Oh,
where
am I
someone
back?
casually punches you in a bar fight and you explode. Hi,
hear me
welcome
okay,
back,
yeah?
Cat.
I think Cat's back.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
can you hear us?
Yeah.
Great, yeah, I can hear you.
Your camera's lagging a little bit, but
This-
other than that, you're great.
It'll catch up.
Yeah.
And no, I need to tell you, this has been so well behaved throughout everyone else's go.
I know,
and
that's
then the
exactly
moment mine
what-
hits,
That's exactly what Brian said.
it just dies. I just watched you all drop out one by one, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. All right, everyone. What would it be? It wouldn't be Sylvie LaBelle without a little bit of drama, would it? But yeah, so she gets a call and she kind of tells Mavis, I'm feeling absolutely wretched this morning. I don't know if I can make it for our little shopping trip. They're planning to go and get outfits for the debut screening later that night.
So who are you on the phone with?
But yeah, she has a busy day. Do you want me to just go through the whole day, or?
Yeah, give me a brief synopsis
there's
of
a
what the
lot
whole
in
day is going to
Sylvie's
look like. Yeah, no, give me a brief synopsis.
The whole day shopping with Mavis, kind of letting her know without letting her know that she's definitely like top of the hierarchy right now. Having a moment where Mavis reveals that the reason why she didn't make it to the party last night was because she was hanging with Sylvie's boyfriend Larry, So taking a moment to, you know, react very well to that in front of Mavis, and then get home and call Larry and tear him an absolute new one, and threaten him, at, like, just call him all the names under the sun, tell him that her good friend Jimmy and his boys will be by if he keeps hanging with Mavis behind her back. And yeah, I think she just spends the day. She briefly spends a little bit of time with Jimmy, just kind of ranting and raving, but then otherwise kind of calming herself down, getting herself back in the zone for a good afternoon, relaxing with her beloved cat Jean-Pierre. How could I forget?
Yeah, let me make sure to put that hand out. So.
And yeah, I was gonna say you better have Jean-Pierre's art ready.
No, I have it ready for the stream.
Precious.
Precious baby Jean-Pierre, the
Little
fluffy
fool.
white Persian cat. And then the rest of the day is just spent once again reapplying makeup, getting herself into her beautiful dress, ready for her screen debut. And at one point I feel like she tried to call Hannibal, just to kind of casually, without making it sound like she's too pressed if he bothers to come or not, casually ask him if he's remembered he is her date, as it were. She's, you know, blown Larry off so that she can attend with Hannibal, but she won't tell him that, and receives no answer, so prepares to go to the premiere alone and hopefully meet him there. Probably, I imagine her director, Howard, will have ordered a cab of some kind for her to pick her up, even though the theatre is literally round the corner. And I mean literally. It's just so that she can have that moment where she steps out of a car and the paparazzi are there, and, you know, it's all part of the show, darling.
All right. Well, I think we can say safely that you are we can start when you're stepping out of the car and you're expecting.
Mm-hmm. So she's all dressed, she's ready, and she steps out of the car. She takes a moment before she steps out to just really take a deep breath. She's looking out the window to see if she can spot Hannibal at all. And I'm guessing that she can't.
Nowhere to be seen.
So she just kind of closes her eyes. Better be fashionably late, brother. And then just kind of gets out of the car, all smiles, waving at everyone.
There's nobody. You step out of the car, and there is not a soul. There are no paparazzi. There are a couple people by the door, just like waiting for you to show up, but there's nobody.
Do I recognize the people by the door?
They're probably just mooks that work for the theater, or they're like security people for the critics that are coming to see this.
All right. So she takes a moment to adjust to make it look like she was just waving at the people by the door, and not that she was expecting a whole crowd of people to be there.
Would make a sanity roll for me, real quick.
This is what's gonna cost me sanity.
I mean, it seems applicable.
Do you know what? That tracks. That really tracks. Okay, wait a minute. Let me I'm gonna do it in here.
I lost sanity from a double murder.
Okay, yes, it's got to be lower than the number, right?
Yeah, so you're fine. You collect yourself. Yeah. You're completely fine. Your ego is irreparably bruised, but
ego is not good. But
there is no ego stat, unfortunately. But if there was one, you would have taken like 10 points of damage to it. So, you're like, oh, and then you recall, this is just a critic's viewing, so there isn't like anybody, there isn't like the general public seeing this. It's just like, oh, okay, that's why you know, why you don't take sanity, damn.
Yeah, okay.
Just the critics.
just the critics.
The
They're
important
probably
ones.
already inside. They're probably waiting in the building. And so she kind of like waves and makes her way up towards the couple of people standing out front, and she kind of just says, "Is Howard inside?"
You are.
That's funny.
Like the two guys that like look between each other.
Sylvie LaBelle.
Oh, yeah, right this way. He'd open the door. Gesture for you to go inside.
Better. And then and she just kind of walks in. And I guess what does she see when she walks in? She's expecting maybe like a relatively crowded room, or a few people that she might recognize.
So this is a full up theater. So and there's like a front area, and then the concessions is all that stuff's closed down right now. It's literally just the main front area. There's like the main chandelier that's been lit, and there's a group of critics. You'd assume that they're critics because they're dressed really nicely and they have their hats off. They have like notepads and pens ready to go. They're talking amongst themselves. There's about a dozen of them, and they look over. Oh, that must be Miss LaBelle, correct?
Correct. Enchanté. And she'll make her way over.
Yes. Enchanté. Nod. We were just getting ready to view your movie. Would you care to join us?
It would be my honor.
I could look over. And like another one of the critics, and the guy just had a really prominent like mustache, and he'd be like, oh. Right. I'm looking forward to it. I'm Franklin Williams. I write for the Chicago Tribune.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Have you seen Howard around?
He seems pretty.
What's the vibe check? Do they seem bowled away by her presence? Do they seem confused as to who she is? Do they need reminding?
So, you want to make like a general psychology check for me? I know you don't have any points.
Yeah,
yeah. Actually, maybe you do. I don't know.
She considers herself pretty insightful. She does have a little bit in psychology, because I don't know that she's actually as insightful as she thinks she is, but...
See what you get.
Okay, so let me just roll. Okay, that's...
Oh yeah, so that's actually pretty good. I think I think passive psychology is just 10.
Yeah, I definitely have more than that. Let me get this sheet up. I have... Oh yeah, I have pretty good psychology actually. It's a 30.
30. Okay, yeah. So
I
you
say
definitely
pretty good. It's fine.
That's still a hard success. You can tell that they're sort of like uncomfortable, not particularly with you either. They might be upset with the theater manager. Something might have happened today, and they seem kind of off-put. They're more so off-put by the fact that you don't seem also off-put.
At that point, I'm gonna kind of... Gentlemen, I feel like I'm missing something. Is everything all right?
Well, if you don't mind me speaking up, one of the a pretty large gentleman wearing a big old Texan, and we lost Cat. Oh, and we got Cat. Did we lose Cat? Did we have Cat?
Okay.
We have Cat. Okay, cool. She dropped out
the whole time.
Okay, cool. A larger gentleman with a friendly mutton chops, you know, like the mustache and the mutton chops, steps forward, and he has a Texan 10-gallon in one of his hands. Ma'am, have you not heard of today's events?
I confess I have spent a fair few hours, and she just gestures to herself, preparing for this evening. I can't say that I'm aware of any news, no.
Well, very well. Jack, let me fill her in. Franklin sort of like speaks up. There's been a lot of wins and assaults today, and we as critics couldn't help but feel that it's a bit in bad taste to view the movie this evening, but your director, the theater manager, whatever you would like to
Howard.
call him, Howard. Let's call him Howard, yes. We insisted that we should probably wait, but Howard has yet to give us a reply. So we are merely waiting for his response. No offense to you,
Oh.
Miss Sylvie. It's just been quite the day.
She takes a moment to really try to mask the real disappointment that she's feeling. And go, well, no, gentlemen, that's quite all right, very understandable. Assault, you say? And at this point, she starts to look around and see if she recognizes anyone else in the crowd and say, have you, by chance, has my brother Hannibal made it here this evening?
Ma'am, besides the 12 or so of us and the 2 theater guards, I suppose you could call them, nobody else has showed up today. We've been here for several hours waiting for Howard to give us a reply, and yet we still wait. We fear that he's fallen ill. He sounded quite sick on the telephone this morning.
Does Sylvie know where she might find Howard, or like,
absolutely, he lives in the theater.
He lives in the theater.
He pretty much lives in the office, in the back office.
Well, gentlemen, perhaps this requires a woman's touch. Allow me to go and do a little investigation, and I'll be back with you momentarily.
Very well, ma'am. We await you with bated breath. Frank would say, a little bit exasperated, and you're just kind of like, go ahead.
All right, I will once again, even though they've just told me no, I will glance around for any sign of Hannibal and try to just kind of say, likely he overslept or forgot, and then just kind of make her way to where she knows the office is.
Okay. So you head back to the office, and it's locked. The door is not usually locked because nobody breaks into a theater unless they're trying to sabotage somebody. And you're fumbling with the door, and you don't have the keys because why would you?
I'll knock first of all. It's polite.
As you knock, the sound of your knuckles meeting the wood just kind of kind of reverberates through the wide open back part of the theater, and then nothing. And then you, what's your listen?
My listen.
I don't think it's very good, if I remember correctly.
How dare!
You literally told me that she's not a good listener.
Average, yes. I believe that when we were doing character creation, I asked you to explain to me what listen was, and about 3 words into your explanation, I said, "No, I've decided Sylvie's not a good listener," and I just moved on. So I am at just the 20, the base 20.
Make a listen check for me.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You've been rolling well so far. I just changed it.
Yeah, but see, this is where it stops, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Gotta stop somewhere. Keep in mind, you guys can spend luck.
Oh!
Yeah.
You probably don't want to spend luck on that. So...
I don't think I have enough luck to save that.
So you got 76?
So 96.
Nothing. You're just like, oh.
Yeah, so I knock and I'm like, Howard, are you in there? This is most unprofessional, Howard.
Yeah. After a few moments pass, you'd hear heavy breathing, just like coming from the other
Have
side
you
of
locked
the door.
yourself in? Christ. And then I'm just gonna I have actually got like a little bit of what is it? Locksmith.
Do you want to?
I've picked up some tricks. So I will attempt. I'm not necessarily very good at it, but I will attempt to take a hairpin out of my beautifully done up hair, and I will try to see if I can pick any kind of lock.
By all means, make a locksmith, and yeah, just make a regular locksmith check for me.
I almost wrote D1000. Oh boy. I think this might actually save me. But I attempt and it goes terribly wrong and I snap the hairpin.
Yeah, it just breaks off in the door.
Howard, have you managed to get yourself stuck? Would you like me to call anyone?
You hear a sort of shuffling noise of clothing falling, like pants and clothing's kind of like falling over each other, and just like that sort of ruffling noise as he clearly is making his way towards the door, and he's just kind of shuffling across the wood floor, and kind of like almost like a slam into the door, like a rumble, and just
Howard, that isn't funny. Think of the critics. Very well, I will deal with them, and I will make my way back.
reasonable reaction. So
She's kind of like stomping a little bit. She's mad. This is supposed to be her big night, and it's all gone terribly wrong. So she's very angry.
right. So you make your way back up to the critics, and they're all sort of waiting around, and Franklin Williams just kind of steps forward. Like he's just a regular, clean-cut dude wearing a suit, and
well, gentlemen, and she's back to all smiles again. Howard seems to be otherwise indisposed, and given the circumstances, I feel it best to perhaps cancel tonight.
Quite unfortunate. But that was
most unfortunate indeed.
I understand your frustrations, Miss Sylvie. Though know that it looked at everybody just like, I'm speaking for you. Are you okay with that? It's kind of like, yeah. We hold no ill will towards you or Howard. It's been quite the day. I'd imagine he's taking the news a bit difficult. Understandably so. Could we perhaps get you a cab home?
Oh, well, I believe I have a cab waiting right outside, and my home is not far, but I appreciate the offer.
Of course. On behalf of the Tribune, I won't note anything about this when we do inevitably view your film. My sincerest apologies. This is quite the hiccup.
It certainly is, and I will see to it that it is rectified as soon as possible.
Of course. Well, you have yourself a safe evening. Be careful and make sure you don't go outside if you don't have to.
No sign of my brother. She'll just try as he kind of like walks away.
No, ma'am. There's been nobody here except for the guards outside, of course.
Right. All right. Thank you.
So, as you're going to leave, nobody's opening the door for you. Well, the guards are on the outside, and you open up the door for yourself, and those guards are gone. You have no idea where they went.
Are we all just in anarchy now? She just kind of walks out, and like wraps her fur around her a little tighter, and has a look around. Do I see anyone around?
you see your cab is gone as well, and apparently you didn't hear it leave, and your cab was. And the cab driver knew that they were supposed to stay there. It's not like that was something that wasn't previously discussed, but they are gone, and you like walk out onto the curb, and you look and see that the cab, it's completely gone.
Is there a phone nearby or in the theater that's not in Howard's office?
I was gonna say there is one in Howard's office.
Yeah.
There is up a block or so. There is a public telephone.
Is her house closer, or is the telephone closer?
Your house would be closer. Your house is a block away. Like it's literally right next.
Yeah. Okay. I feel that she would probably try to return home. This has been a disaster. All she wants to do right now is cuddle her cat.
Understandable.
And she would probably return home with the intent of maybe trying to call a locksmith to the theater to figure out what is going on there. And maybe try to call Hannibal again. So she has a phone in her apartment.
So you pick up your phone. You ask for you ask to be connected to a certain number, and no response. They're completely dead on the line.
Most unusual. And then she just kind of she just sort of like, she's not very technical, but she assumes that something is broken, so she's just looking to see if there's any sign of like any issue on the phone. Or
Everything's hooked up just fine. You're not sure what it could be. Maybe somebody on the other end is playing a prank on you. Not a funny one.
Well, does she lives in an apartment building, so perhaps she would then try to go to a neighbor to see. It's a pretty fancy apartment building, I think, so she would probably assume that a few of her neighbors have phones.
It's a fair assumption.
So nearest neighbor.
Okay, so you're knocking on their door. There's a few moments that pass before you hear footsteps, and you hear a voice like mumbled behind the door. Are you the police?
No, I'm Sylvie. I live in the apartment across. Are you expecting the police?
Sylvie, dear, you probably want to stay inside your apartment.
Why? I heard there were assaults, but is everything okay?
There was a policeman by today, and he said to stay inside until further notice.
My phone is not working. Have you got a working phone in there?
Mine isn't either, dear. And I haven't heard from my husband all day.
Oh, I think at this point she is starting to get a little bit worried now. Like the kind of like the annoyance of the evening is kind of fading to like, okay, actually something serious is going on. I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope that he returns, and she'll just kind of back away back to her apartment. I feel like at that point she would just probably just kind of lock the apartment door and be looking out the window and trying to figure out what is going on to see if she can see Hannibal and keep trying the phone.
So you're basically just sheltering in place.
Yeah, I think she would just shelter in place at that point. I don't think she would try to go out or anything like that. I think she would just be looking out the window to see if she could see Hannibal. She might if she sees him or sees him in trouble, but
So as you're looking out in the street, it is unusual because it is pretty late in the afternoon and people are usually out and about by this time, at least coming back from work. and it's dead. There is nobody outside. It is makes you very uneasy, like how quiet it is. It's like everybody just left. And you keep trying the phone with no avail. And every now and then, like off in the distance, like the size of an ant, like a fleck in your vision, you can see somebody just kind of like shambling about very slowly, and then they disappear.
But it's not. There's just the streets just seem kind of empty.
Yeah, they're incredibly empty, and there's only a few parked cars that remain.
I don't know that she would have her own car because I feel like she's used to being ferried around.
Yeah, she definitely wouldn't. I don't think you have any drive auto either.
No.
Yeah.
So
I'd probably end up driving around most of the time.
Yeah, probably Hannibal drives her around a lot. I guess she would try to rack her brains to see if she remembered Hannibal mentioning that he needed to do anything today or was going anywhere today before coming to her.
So
I don't know, Alec. Do you think that she would have? Do you think that he would have told her?
The only thing is you're the only person who knows if I'm not literally working a case or like at my apartment or hanging out with you, like the only place I regularly go is I've started going to a psychiatrist. But you are the only human who knows that I'm going to a psychiatrist. So but I tend to go their last appointment during the day. So
yeah,
that's the only.
And it wouldn't be today if you were coming to.
Yeah, it most likely would not. But that's the only other place. Would be either my apartment, working a case, or at the doctor.
So you're at a loss. You can't get a hold of anybody on the phone. Howard's predisposed. The critics were literally saying that there's assaults going on in the street. You're not sure what's going on, but you have pretty much just sort of you're under the idea that maybe I should just stay home and that would be the safest. And maybe
she would
right.
certainly do that for a little bit, but I think if a few like an hour or so passed and like nothing and she's not really seeing anything outside, then she might start to get a little bit more daring and maybe go out and try and find more people. But none of the phones seem to be working, which is a bit unusual.
Okay. So it's starting to get dark outside now. You went there in the afternoon, and now it's falling to evening, and it is getting dark. So,
all right. I guess you want a job doing. And she'll take her Derringer. She'll load it up. And she will give Jean-Pierre a little scritch behind the ears. And she will probably... I feel she would probably... She's not sure where to find Hannibal, but she would probably maybe go to someone that she thought might be able to help her. Perhaps Jimmy. She might try to find... She know where Jimmy kind of hangs around a lot.
Yeah, Jimmy's on the west side, so he'd be like
quite a while away.
Quite a walk. Yeah, probably about half an hour.
Yeah, okay, a bit too much of a walk. Okay, I think her next move then would be to try to get to a phone on the street. Like if the one in their apartment building is offline and not working, then perhaps it's just her building, and so she will armor up and try to go and find a phone working outside.
So, okay, so you make your way out to the street, and you there is a public telephone really close by, and you try it, and you're just walking around, and making your way towards it, and it's dark. There's nobody around. It is dead quiet. You can't help but feel that this is just some sort of weird nightmare. But you step inside of the phone booth and you try to get the operator, and still nothing. Same kind of silence that you had back at your apartment.
It's just amazing that she hasn't encountered like any actual like problematic thing yet. She will go outside of this thing, and she just kind of keep trying at this phone, and she'll be like, for Christ's sake, I feel like I'm in one of Hannibal's nightmares, and then just hang up this phone. Walk outside. Can she see anyone, even if they're in the distance?
So you do see a few of those like shambling figures that you swore you saw earlier, and then now they seem more real to you. They're closer to you. They're less than flex. You can see like make out actual silhouettes, just sort of like wandering about, and there's more of them. And they're getting a bit closer. They're not heading directly towards you, but you hear a few of the Chicago wind chimes and that sort of thing throughout the day. You're used to hearing that, like the distant echo of gunfire. But yeah, the just dead. It's really quiet.
Here's the thing. Sylvie is a talker. That's her thing. So the obvious thing she's gonna do is try to get help from a person. So she's gonna just see this shambler nearby, and she's gonna go, "Excuse me, hello," and wave.
They stop in their tracks and just like slowly loll their head over, and they start like shambling in your direction. And so would others, because they clearly heard you call out.
Hi there. Do you have any idea what in tarnation is going on? How fast are they moving at this point?
They're shambling. So your movement's like 7.
My movement. My movement
It should be
is.
like 7.
Where do I find that again?
Let me double check.
Oh, move 7. Yes, found it. Found the bottom.
These guys are 6, so they're moving like a little bit slower than you would.
Oh, good. As he's coming towards me, and he's not like calling out or saying anything that reassures me that he's a person with good intentions. So she will sort of finger at the gun at her side a little bit. These streets are dangerous. She's been told as well that they're extra dangerous at the moment, and there's random people attacking people. And she'll kind of just be like, Sir, I'm in need of help. Do you know of a phone that's working nearby?
And they get close. They keep growing closer to you with no intention other than just shambling forward, just like shaking a little bit and just dragging themselves along.
Now that they're closer, how do they look?
Incredibly disheveled. They look incredibly gaunt as well. Like there's a lack of hydration around their eyes. You can sort of see that their lips have recessed, and you can see their dried out gums and their teeth. And this particular fellow's teeth have a lot of sinewy bits stuck between them, and perhaps cloth.
That's not normal, even if it is cloth. So she will begin to back away, and kind of she'll go, now, sir. She kind of like holds the gun out, and she'll go, I'm armed. There's no need to rush towards me. I just have some questions. As she kind of backs away back towards the apartment building.
And to the best of this thing's ability, they're moving, trying to move as fast as they can towards you. Like there's a clear intention there. They're wearing this disheveled suit with a trench coat. Their hat's fallen off of their head. Their hair is all sweaty and disheveled, sticking to their pallid forehead.
I feel like she she would shoot him. I feel like just out of kind of like worry, just in the leg or something, just to try to slow him down. She's never really been in this position before, but at this point she's called his attention over, and now he's like coming for her, so she's a bit.
Okay, make a handguns check for me.
Okay.
We're going up to 98. You're counting up right now.
Huh?
We're counting up. You rolled a 96 and then a 97. This next one should be a 98.
Yeah. So this is going to be a 98, and I'm going to fail. Oh, 47. What is my handgun? It is. Is it the where it says in combat the number it says next to it? 50.
50. Okay, so you do have a success, so make sure you check mark that. Okay. So go ahead and roll damage. I believe that's a. I don't remember what a Derringer is actually.
Yes, damage, which is 1d6, right?
I believe so. If that's what you got written down, that should be correct.
Yeah, it's 1d6. 3 points of damage.
Okay, this little pinfire pistol just goes, and you shoot him, and you do manage to shoot him in the leg, and you just see this like little. You see a tiny little pop of blood out the back of the leg, and then they slow down and they sort of like drop down to the street and fall over. And there's more behind him. There's about 3 or 4 like kind of staggered behind him.
And they're coming towards me as well?
Yeah, a good distance. But he, instead of stopping, he just starts crawling towards you across the pavement, and he looks up at you.
Nah. Sylvie is gonna scream and turn tail and run.
Where are you going?
I guess back to her apartment. That's kind of would be her. What am I gonna find there, Red?
Jean-Pierre has gotten 3 times as big. No.
No,
so...
stop! She's running back to safety. She's running at her apartment.
Yeah, she's running back to your apartment. You see in the window of your apartment, your cat's just kind of like looking down at you, wondering what's going on.
Jean-Pierre spins around in a chair holding a tiny human baby. He's like, I've been expecting you.
So you make your way back to the apartment, and you rush up the stairs to your room and open the door and close it.
As she runs past that neighbor's house, she's gonna cry out like, "Keep your door locked! They're crazy out there!" And then she's gonna go into her apartment and actually genuinely, seriously sit down and really begin to fret about maybe even Mavis. Who knows? She's starting to really worry now.
Make a sanity check for me.
Oh god. Sanity. Okay, let me just. Is there just a roll D100 again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a fail.
Let's find out how much you failed by it. Actually, that's a little bit too harsh. Let me roll a d6 instead of a d10. You lose 3 sanity points. As things start to come to a head and you have a moment to think, you realize that there is something terribly wrong. There is a sickness, and you start putting things together. Howard was feeling sick. There's assaults in the street today. You put everything together, and it kind of hurts your head.
It probably would hurt her head, yeah. She'd be like, okay. And yeah, she's kind of, I guess she's kind of at this point, she's like locked the doors, bolted them. I feel like she would just sit tight and she would just keep trying the phone.
Okay. And hey, that's where we can stop with Sylvie for now. We can go over to Omni. Do we want to take a little bit of a break before we get to Omni, because we are at the 2.5 hour mark?
It's been 2.5 hours. If you guys want to take a break, I wouldn't blame you.
I'm cool.
What time are we wrapping up?
Probably about 3. So
So
or
in about
at
20
the 3
minutes.
hour mark. Yeah, about the half an hour or so. I don't want to
Well,
keep anybody up too
we're
late.
wrapping up in. Oh, wait. So in 20 minutes or.
Yeah, so we're like 2.5 hours in right now, so it'll be like another 20-30 minutes.
I mean, if it's only 20 minutes, I don't mind not having a break, but if everyone else wants to stretch their legs or something.
Okay, I need to go to the bathroom. That's what I was asking.
Oh, okay. Well, go
Yeah,
to the
no, let's
bathroom.
take
I
a
can-
5 minute. Go do your thing.
Folks, stick around. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Hello, welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the latter half of the set. Let me get Jean Pierre off the screen. Jeez. All right, so
No, keep Jean Pierre on the
Perfect.
screen.
no
Demon fluff.
demon fluff. Yeah. So
My baby. How dare?
so we're gonna go over to Omni's character, who will be our last of the session, and go from there. So, what's a day in the life for Edward here?
Well, Edward is a railway engineer. And so, for the most part, he works out of Grand Central Station and the adjacent train yards. So, I figure he probably wakes up in his cheap apartment, goes out to the rail yard. Honestly, he only really has his cheap apartment in Chicago because depending on the day, he might not be there. He might be on one of these trains riding hundreds of miles out to another city, hanging out there, coming back. So depending on the day, he's probably only there for like a third of the week. I'm going to say for sanity's sake, he's here. But he's probably getting ready to go on a train probably later that evening, or if not that, he's getting a train prepped for another day. So he wakes up bright and early, has himself a nice breakfast, hikes himself down to the railway yard, and begins working.
Okay, and you're mostly by yourself throughout the day. You have people stopping by, occasionally saying hello to you, but you're mostly just working on the train, making sure everything's on the up and up, doing system diagnostics, quote unquote.
Yeah, mostly. I can imagine the only folks he directly interacts with are the actual mechanics, the folks who service or operate the trains. So you have brakemen, you have engineers, you have the technicians, the the boiler technicians, and all that. Yeah, sure, they're all around, but like he's probably for the most part actually working on the engine itself, and a lot of that maintenance is, unless you're taking the thing apart, it's basically just making sure that the pressure gauges are all well working, that the boiler's in a good working order, all that. So
right, and so honestly, your character is going to be a little bit weird. So since you're kind of like independent of what's going on in the city right now, it's starting to get really late. It's like you've been working since you got here, and it's about 4 or 5 o'clock, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm ready to clock out, and everybody around just going about their work like nothing's happening because you don't know. You're literally out in the train yard, and so you're heading home.
Yeah.
You said you live in like a humble little apartment.
yeah, it's a small thing, hole in the wall. Again, he basically just uses it as a place to crash when he's not on the train. That's really that's what he considers home.
Okay, so it's dead quiet as you're making your way down the street. There's no cars, there's no foot traffic, nothing at all. It is unusually quiet. You're tired, but even you pick up on that. It's just like the silence is deafening. You're at least used to one of your neighbors getting chewed out by their wife. So, like,
Right.
nothing at all.
Well, now, this is somewhat concerning. Not normally this quiet this time of day. And as he sort of like walks around, he's gonna reach into he's got one of those like metal lunch pails, like the classic metal lunch pail. And inside of it, he's gonna sort of pop open the hinge, just look inside, and inside is the leftover napkin with the crumbs from the sandwich he ate today, and his pipe wrench, and a loaded 45. Because you don't walk through the industrial parts of town in Chicago in the 1920s without a little something to protect you.
Absolutely.
So he's just going to look at it, make sure it's in there, and then just sort of hold the lunchbox together like both handles with his hand, but not clench it tight. So if he does need to go in there, he can just let go and grab quickly. But the last time he heard something this quiet, he's honestly feeling like, is there like a mugging around, or like what's going on? Like usually if it's this quiet, it's because there's a reason for things being this quiet.
Well, yeah. It's like, oh, is there something going on? Is there a party, that you're missing out on? Of course, yeah. I don't think Edward's much the party goer.
No, but I think again he works in the industrial side of town, so he's used to like, what do people do in warehouses? Well, they either move shit in or they meet there for things they shouldn't meet. That's basically the only two things a warehouse is used for. And one of those is very loud, and the other is very quiet. So he's assuming like, maybe the mob's out and about doing their shit, and I don't want to be anywhere near them. So
So you come around to your apartment and you head around back to where the stairs are that lead up to your place, and you see a car. There's a car in the back parking. I don't know why I said that so dramatically. You see a car. So there's a Model A. There's a Model A Ford.
Metal Gear.
There's a Metal Gear in the parking lot.
Metal Gear, shit.
So you see
Pirate red.
Yar! There'll be a Model A in the parking lot.
There should be a car.
So, like I said, there's a Model A Ford in the parking lot, older car, even by modern standards in 1928, and you instantly recognize it. It's your old pals, Charles. It's his car. You don't know why he's here, but he seems to. You see like skid marks leading along where the tires were, so he clearly like flew into this parking lot. And there is all manner of things on his car and as you get closer to it, you start to realize there's like blood and sinew, like stuck in the windows and the door handles, and the wheels too, and the spokes.
Good God! And he's gonna just let the handle go and just reach in and grab his pipe wrench and just sort of hold it out in one hand, bring the other container down. What in? Charles? Charles, are you home? And he's going to begin to walk in. Charles, what in God's name happened? And he's just going to start pushing his way through.
So as you're heading up the stairs, the door to your apartment opens up, and you see your good pal Charles. Well, and I'll show that to Chad as well, of course. Of course. You see Charles step out, and he's holding a double-barrel shotgun.
Whoa, friend. Did I do something?
Have you been at work?
What's going on?
Have you been at work all day?
Of course. Where else would I be?
So you don't have a goddamn clue what's going on, do you?
The 288s aren't going to repair themselves. What in God's name happened to your car? What happened to you? And what's with the shotgun?
What happened to me? Well, I have to make you a fucking grocery list to tell you what exactly happened to me. But you want to talk about what happened today? I'd still need a grocery list. Come inside.
And he puts the thing inside and closes it up and closes the door behind him as he walks in. Swear, I thought I was about to be shot. I thought someone had broken into my house. And just locks the door and turns around. Now, what in God's name is going on, Charles? It's been dead quiet out there. The last shift just let out.
Eddie, I did you the liberty of boarding up your windows. It says he literally walked inside and plopped down in your like worn out overstuffed chair, and like the windows are literally boarded up with 2x4s and nails. There's a box of nails and a hammer nearby, and he just plops himself down. You know that you know that he has a bum leg. Like he can get around just fine without a cane, but he's not gonna move as fast. Charles is a tough motherfucker, but he's old Chucky still needs to sit down every now and then.
Right. He's gonna take one look at the windows. Just the one thing about this apartment that was decent was the view. What in God's name is going on?
Have a seat. Oh, lock the door and throw that there 2x4 down. And you realize that he's been here for a while because he's got like a full like wooden door blockade set up in the wall. He's a crafty motherfucker, you know that.
Right. Yeah. No. And I've known Charles since the war. Like, this guy, if he's telling me to batten down the hatches, he's just gonna pause.
You've known him for like 14, 15 years. Like,
yeah. So, all right, I'll play ball with this, and he's gonna pick up the thing and just wedge in the door and just make sure that the door is in fact locked because he turned the lock when he comes in. Again, he lives in a not that great part of town. You don't leave that shit open. When it's locked into place. Charles, why are we fortifying this place harder than a trench? What on earth is going on?
Well, old boy, seems the dad started walking.
Charles, have you had a lot to drink?
I had to after what I did today. Son, he calls you son, knowing well that you're his age.
Yeah, no, he gives him that like dry look, like, come on, man, it wasn't funny in the trenches, it ain't funny here.
Let me tell you what, there's something really bad going on here. I saw a man I saw a man. He just minding his business, right? And a woman comes up to him. I think it's just some sort of solicitation type thing, and she rips his throat out. And I'm standing there in shock. Yeah, I ain't seen nothing that awful. You ain't seen nothing that awful.
Oh, good
And
God, no.
I'm waiting there. I'm sitting in my car having my sandwich after I got off work for the day. I'm just sitting there. I don't know what to do. And then, lo and behold, about 2, 3, 4 minutes later, I don't know, I wasn't keeping count, but bastard that got his throat ripped out, he stands right back up. Starts walking after that woman, whatever direction she went in. And I heard all them gunshots. And I swear every time I heard a gunshot, I saw one of them things, whatever they are, whatever you want to call them. They started walking off in the direction wherever they heard them at. So I know they're sensitive to sound. That's something I figured out. I may be old, I may be bald, but I got good ears.
That can't possibly be right. Maybe they...
You saw my car, didn't you? I had to paint some of the fuckers on the hood. I didn't have no choice. They were trying to get at me. They don't move much slower than me, neither, with my leg and all. So I don't stand a chance unless I'm inside a motor vehicle or inside a little Fort Knox here. Fort Edward. We'll call it Fort Edward.
that was Omni laughing, not Eddie. Can I make some sort of check to intuit? Like, obviously, again, I know Charles. I've known him for years on years.
Sure.
Can I make a check to see whether this is him being over the top or being actually, like, really honest to God? Like, because, you know...
Charles has a way of playing things up. So your first impression is, oh, yeah, he's got to be just, like, hamming it up a little bit just to, like, send it.
Right.
But after what you saw in his car, it's either he's had a mental break or he's being 100% genuine, and that's up to you to decide.
Like, Eddie's gonna have that moment in his head, is like, has my friend gone mental? And then he's just gonna pause and be like, this guy was literally in World War I with me. Like, he was part of the engineer corps. Like, this guy managed the steam engines to the front and back. He's seen thousands of bodies being shipped back and forth on those trains.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he didn't have a mental break then, he's not going to have a mental break now. So he's just going to assume the best and trust his friend and just sit on the couch next to him, take off his hat, and just look at him, play with his mustache a little bit. So, do we have any idea what caused this plague? This is biblical, Charles. What in the name of God?
Pal, I tell you, if I knew what caused this, I wouldn't be working where I was working. But I tell you what, I had to hi-hat a few of them. But I made sure not to make so much noise when I pulled up here in your flat. I made sure to go little less than 15 miles an hour so the car weren't puttering too loud. Nobody heard me come in. I made sure all my gunshots were a block over. I'm sure a lot of people's is losing their minds right now, but I still got it all up here. I'm still peppy in the brain case. I got this all figured out. I saw this coming.
You tell me you had the lottery numbers one day, and you always end up not coming. You always end up coming to work the next. So, forgive me if I didn't believe that, but at the same time, damn, I guess Clark is right sometime, even if it's broken.
Eddie,
what are we gonna do about
I'm
this?
the real McCoy right now. I know what I'm talking about. This world is full of so much sin. I mean, hell, just take a good look at Chicago itself. No wonder this is happening. This is God punishing us for all the drinking and the whoring and all that.
All right, Eddie. Enough. I don't need.
Oh, don't even get me started on them politicians.
I know, Eddie, I know. And he's going to stand up and go over to, I imagine like he's got an ice box. He's going to reach in and he's just going to grab, I figure like a glass thing of milk. Because I think he's the kind of milquetoast person that genuinely plays so much by the rules that even in the heat of prohibition, he doesn't want to fucking have alcohol in his house. So he's going to pour a glass of milk from himself and put it back in. Oh, we can't stay here, obviously.
Oh,
This apartment's
applesauce.
barely big enough for me when the world isn't ending, and God, I can't believe you hit people with your car.
What was I gonna do? Let him break my car and get at me? I can't move very fast, Eddie. I'd rather hit.
No.
And hell, after the stuff I did overseas, do you really think I care about hitting a few bastards with my car?
Yes, but there's what we did across the ocean, and then there's what we did here. Just
Well,
because
I
we
reckon
did...
I reckon hitting them things is like hitting an animal. At least, well, I mean, I guess it ain't quite like hitting an animal. See, when I grew up down in Arkansas, we used to, if we ever hit an animal, which my pa would go out of his way to try to hit animals once them cars were invented, and we'd be able to eat them. But I don't think we can eat these things. Also, I don't think I'd feel right eating something that looks like me.
If they were people, I think we shouldn't, for obvious reasons. You'll have to forgive me, Charles. I'm still processing the whole dead walking thing. That's a bit much.
You'll pick it up eventually. It took me a minute.
Okay. So
I've been at it for 8 hours today, boy. You've been out in the yard all day. I've been dealing with this half the day.
Wait,
Believe me, I was going through the
okay.
hyperventilating. You know that. I'm fine now. I had a few cigarettes. I had a swig of gin. I'm doing just fine.
Wait. Charles, I've been out in the yard all day.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen hide nor tail of these things. This is
Right,
the first I'm hearing of them.
That's what I'm telling you, boy.
We can't stay here.
We're gonna have to
Who
stay
the
here
hell
for
is
now.
going to go to the yard?
Well, you want to go hang out on some trains?
Here, we make one errant sound from what you described, and they're going to be descending on us, right?
Yeah, so you should probably keep your voice down.
Oh. Damn it. Well, that might be a bit late for that. I did shout coming in, trying to see if you were all right.
He started getting himself up. Let me check.
Damn it. Then he's going to reach in his lunchbox and pull out the 45 and walk with him to the window.
Hey, Eddie, you ain't using no gun. We're trying to be quiet, like, see? See, you can hear a gun from 300 meters away, probably more. In this city, probably about 2. You know how them ring off the buildings and such.
You're right. Old habits die hard, I guess. And you'll put it back in the lunchbox, and he'll just sort of peek out by him.
I'll give him the old fisticuffs. He'd say, so he held up his fist like, I'm gonna fucking hit him. And
let's not.
He'd unbar the door and open it up, and there's nobody in the parking lot.
Oh, thank God. You know, when I first moved here, click, and he's gonna close the door again and lock it. When I first moved here, I hated the fact that I had to walk like 30 minutes to get to groceries, but now I'm glad for it. All right. But no, think about it, Eddie. I'm talking to myself now. Think about it, Charles. Imagine. We, stuck here in the city, the population of what? A couple 100,000? How long till they eventually stumble across us or we make a mistake? You can't walk very well. And let's be real, I'm not much of a spring chicken myself anymore.
Oh, you're a lot more copacetic than I am, boy.
Either way, I prefer not to do... I'd prefer not to be performing athletics so much. At least of that caliber. But if we could get ourselves to a train, we could leave. What are they going to do? Throw themselves on the track? It's several tons of steel. If we can get one of those old... And we don't need a big one. One of the small 264s. Something smaller. More than enough to carry us in just one car. If we could do that, we could go. Hell, maybe we could bring some people with us if we run across anyone lucky enough to get out that way.
See, Well, now I'm thinking. So, see but I like your thinking, but you headed home for the day, right?
I did, yes.
And that means every other engineer headed home for the day too. Can you operate that whole damn thing by yourself? Shut the fuck up. Sorry, I got a phone call.
He pauses. I obviously can't, Charles. But we happen to have two engineers here. And it's not like as though if the engines aren't kept in a decent state of readiness, all we need to do is get fire up the boiler, connect a coal car, and go.
Boy,
It's a
I
lot of
haven't.
it's a lot of physical effort, but it's not like as though as if we're operating and no one set these trains up, and it's not like anyone's going to be leaving anytime soon with this.
Boy, I haven't operated a train since the Alsace Lorraine.
Well, good news for you, steam still works the same way
Keep
it
your
has
voice
since you
down,
were a
you
child.
loud bastard. You're gonna attract
Sorry.
them. Like,
Look,
yell at me in a whisper if you got to.
all right, Charles, I know how these engines work. I guarantee you, get me a chance to fire up those coals, we can get moving.
Well, I would if I didn't get the gin mill. Feeling a little goofy right now. It says he went and sat himself down. Why don't we do this tomorrow morning, bright and early?
That's probably not a bad idea. I don't want to try to do this at night. Not when I can't see. I can't believe I'm about to say this. A corpse in the dark, walking around. Oh,
We need to come up with a name for him or something.
what? Like we did in the trenches?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to call them. They ain't German. I guess some of them would be German if you think about it.
I don't know. I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that this is a thing. I believe you, Charles. I believe you. Truly, I do. I'm just. I just woke up this morning and I walked out to the engine to the yard, and all I did was work blissfully on steam engines for a few hours, and then I come home and the entirety of Chicago is apparently now a killing field. If we're going to call them something, it needs to be something quick and easy.
I hope you had a good day at work, by the by.
It was
Because
lovely.
it'll probably be your last day at work.
Ah,
The seventh trumpet has been blown, my friend. God, who art in heaven, is punishing us for our sins. This is the rapture, boy. Don't you see it? Only us sinners are the ones left. That's what we should call them. Sinners.
that's a little presumptuous. Wouldn't they be the ones if they're not?
The saved? You want to call them the saved?
That might be better. God, that sounds so wrong.
I like it. It's ironic. Also,
All
sort
right.
of adds a bit of funny to it, especially considering this is traumatic enough as is. So a little bit of funny, a bad situation, usually cheers things right up. Like that one time my paw accidentally shot his hog.
All right. We're saved. Tomorrow morning we move. Oh, what a mess. We make for the yard.
Boy, all you guys
Pause.
milk in the fridge? He said he just cut you off. He wasn't even listening to you.
He just walks and walk by. Second shelf right above the icebox.
That's all you got is milk?
I don't live here, Charles. I get on the rail, I ride for 2 days, I
Keep
enjoy
your voice down.
beautiful cuisine at the hands of whatever cart decides to be running that day, and then I post up somewhere else in a motel. I saw that too, but
I didn't see the hydration check. Thanks, Chris.
all right.
Well, here's what I reckon. We look for other sinners just like us, and we'll figure it out. The train's only one thing, but if we're gonna, I don't think the two of us can operate a train. I think modern day. You was telling me one time the modern trains take like 5 or 6 people to run. I'm too. I don't even move. I don't move quick no more, Eddie. I can't. I can hardly handle one station.
You're not wrong. We could definitely use some people, especially for the physical labor. You're right. Okay. We look for other people. See if we can get them with us. If we're lucky, we can get the thing rolling. We don't need a Yellowstone, but something strong. Doesn't take too much coal. We get going as far as we can. Ride the thing down till it's out of steam or it's out of coal. Either way. But anywhere but here, I think that's our best bet.
Let's go to California. I've always been talking about doing that anyhow.
I always wanted to see the Rockies. And he's gonna just go over and grab another glass, pour himself a cup to sit by Charles and just sort of like hold it up. So, to the end of the world.
To the end. I should hold up the candle.
Clink and drink.
Candle juice. Okay. Well, that's a good spot to end that. So, we are at the 3 hour and 10 minute mark, and some of us need to go. So, I think that's where we'll end it, and we'll have a little meetup episode on the next episode. So, folks, this has been Call of Cthulhu Rapture. Thank you for joining us. All of my players have been very excited for this, especially, like, I put a lot of work into it, and I'm very excited to see that people are enjoying it. But without further ado, I'd like to let my players introduce themselves, starting from left to right this time, since Kat is on Roll20. So, Kat, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us where people can find you, what you're up to, etc.
Hey, I'm Kat. I am also known as the Law Mistress or Law Mistress 93 on pretty much all social media. You can find actually me on Twitter most of the time with my brand new logos and banners, which I'm super excited about. That I've got those now.
That's great.
Thanks. I write, I edit, and I am often streaming now. I used to say, sometimes I stream, but I'm stream pretty often now. I have just wrapped up my mid-season finale of Throsian Odyssey. We are back in a few weeks' time on Girls Run These Worlds, which I'm super excited about for our season 2.5, as it were. So do check those out, and you can find, if you need to catch up, you can find season 1 and what's currently been recorded of season 2 over on Girls Run These Worlds on YouTube. That is pretty much me. I feel like the only other thing I normally talk about is this, and obviously I'm here. And yeah, I was playing Sylvie LaBelle. I told you she's super chilled out, and I think I really showed that off today. So without further ado, I will move on to the next person.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kat. Elise?
Hello, everybody. I'm Elise. I'm an artist and an Etsy store owner, and I'm making custom RPG paraphernalia. I was playing Dottie Lewis, the sassy and feisty.
You cut out, huh?
Ooh, I think I
keep forgetting. I'm just. Sorry.
Don't
sorry,
quit
I keep forgetting. Oh, video is not meant to be used on tablet. Where did I cut out? I'm sorry.
You're talking about
you
your
can find
character.
me at.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You can find me on Etsy and Twitter. My Etsy handle is Queen of Swords D&D, and Twitter is Sword Queen D&D. And you can follow me for more paraphernalia and stuff like that, and just cool RPG products and art and things like that. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained right now. And I was playing Dottie Lewis, the feisty, sassy mob lady.
Well, thank you, Elise,
That's me.
as always.
Thank you for having me be here.
Thank you. Art, who did the music for the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote the intro and the soundscape that's currently playing in the background right now. Yes, I'm Artemis. My tag is above me. You can find me on pretty much anything. I don't really tweet that often anymore. I've taken a little bit of a step back from social media, but I'm always open to conversation. So come and say hello to me. I like to chat to people. That's my thing. And also check out my SoundCloud because I have music. I have music.
You have
Check
the
out
music.
Artie's SoundCloud.
Please, that would be lovely of you.
It's so good.
I'm trying
Lot
to
of-
get it. I will actually tell everyone this. I recently submitted my music to the BBC introducing page, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them. But they have listened to my music, so hopefully you'll hear me on national radio in the UK. So
That's so cool. I'm
Nice.
so proud of you.
Oh.
that's my goal for the end of the year is to get on get on
What?
BBC radio.
Really? That is so cool.
That's insane.
Yay.
Fingers crossed. Oh, I'm also trying. I don't. This is probably completely useless information to everyone outside the UK, but I want to hopefully do gigs by the end of the year, or you can sponsor me to come over to the UK, the USA, to do gigs. I want to play my music live. Basically, is what I want to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's me. Listen to my music. Tell me it's good because I need compliments.
Jokes on you folks. You're already listening to it. This is a soundscape. Of course, you can listen to. I will be playing the intro again at the end, so you can hear it, that lovely, awesome bluesy riff at the end. But thank you again, Art, for doing the music, for being an awesome person, and being on the show, of course.
You are most welcome.
Over to Alakazam.
That's me. Yes, I am Alexander for the Purveyor of all things homebrew. I run a lot of different games right now. I do between 12 and 15 games a week. I do have a few time slots open, so if you're interested, you can check out my Discord. The link is going to be on my Twitter, Alec_Azam. I'm on most social media sites with that name. And my biggest project I'm working on right now, beyond the several hundred things of 5e homebrew I've done, is I'm working on my own system. It is called Spliced, which is a cult TTRPG that is going to be really fucked up, and I'm really excited for it. I'm hoping to have that out by March or probably April, at least in a playtestable state by March. So keep an eye out for that.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. I always love having you on. You always play. You have a good variety of characters that you play. I know you're just like I only play 2 characters, but you've played a good variety. So
I like to keep it interesting,
yeah.
but I do tend to lean toward someone with fucked up survivor's guilt. Let's not look too much into that. Let's just move on to what Omni's doing.
and we saved the last Omnitech for last.
Oh,
Oh God, Red. That's so smooth. I can't even roll my eyes at that pun. That was actually just well played. Hello everyone.
Funny.
I'm the last Omnitech, your favorite American. I'm completely blown away by that incredibly smooth use of my position. And yeah, you guys can find me on my own Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TheLastOmnitect. I normally, every week, will be doing world building, RPG art, and streaming. Occasionally video games and hangouts. But now, I'm finally returning to running actual plays on my channel, as well as also, I'm super hyped for an actual play I'm going to be running on DMDM Studios, because for those of you who know, I've been working on a tabletop role-playing system for the past, at this point, nearly 20 years. And I am, for the first time ever, running it live on stream on DMDM Studios. Not this weekend, but next Saturday at about noon, 12:30 CST on DMDM Studios. It's Legacy First Flight. We have my boy Red in there, Derek of DMDM Studios, and a number of other incredible people. I'm super hyped to have them all in. And on top of that, I'm also be running my own first foray into a fantasy, tabletop classic fantasy, not like AS, which was like Primal Fantasy. I'm going to be running a Pathfinder 2e campaign, Wild Skies of Etanria, not this Thursday, but next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. EST. So keep an eye out. And that's me. So.
Right on, man. As always, thank you for being a part of every single thing I do. It's really nice to have a solid rock to always be able to lean on and to have lean on me, of course.
Always a pleasure, man. Truly.
You're awesome. You're all awesome. You're all absolutely amazing. And I've been Red. You know who I am. If you don't, you can check me out on Twitter at VA Redemption. You can see my volatile hot takes, such as I don't like this game very much, neither does anybody else. But so we will be live. Yeah,
Wild,
I know.
Damn.
Calm down there.
Y'all know I used to post some really bad hot takes, but we're not
now.
going into that. Next episode of Call of Cthulhu will be on March 2nd, same time, about 2 p.m. And coming up on Sunday will be a Mysteries of Olbod, which is Elise, Omni, and Skag, which is a Pathfinder, my first Pathfinder AP. I hope they're enjoying it so far. The first encounter was a bridge with something scary in the muddy river below. But stay tuned for that. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. CST. I'm not going to keep anybody any longer. Very much appreciate it. Let me see if I can find somebody to raid out into. Pretty sure some folks are live right now.
Derek's live.
Derek's alive. Let's go. Right on.
Hey.
So,
Elden Ring.
I'm going to play the intro again, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.